It's taken 34 days to finally play here and the 26th game in this 2021 season. But finally this year, the Falmouth Commodores set to take on the Cotuit Kettleers here from Lowell Park. Good evening, everybody. David Adar alongside Matt Levine once again here in Cotuit for the first time this summer, the only ballpark that Falmouth has yet to play at this year. And Matt, it feels good to finally be here, cross off that 10th ballpark here in the league this year, and get to a game here in Cotuit.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that it took this long with the rain out and then no makeups for this year's schedule. And essentially one of the two closest fields to the Gov is here at Lowell Park. And we've come here for COVID testing by the league. We came here when the game was rained out and had to turn around and go back to Falmouth. So finally now a baseball game on the field that we're going to be able to watch tonight. And it's going to be a good one because it carries massive postseason implications.
It does. With the win tonight, Falmouth, who currently sits at third place in the Western Division, has the opportunity to move up to second in the Western Division, somewhere where they haven't been since the early weeks of this season, and somewhere that if they're able to get come the end of the year, Falmouth will find itself in the playoffs for another year. So this is a big game. There's still a lot of games left in the year, but these two teams are locked right about neck and neck with one another. And Cotuit ended a 5-game losing skid last night. Falmouth has now won 2 in a row. So these teams coming in here to an extent going in opposite directions, but coming in tonight for a huge contest.
Well, the Falmouth Commodores losing 5 straight, then winning 2 straight. We've seen them do this all season where they'll lose several games in a row, they'll win a few, then they'll lose several games in a row, then they'll win a few. And that keeps them under 500 at the current moment. Cotuit, though, 12-14 on the year. Again, a losing skid for them. They won last night in a game that got rained out in the 6th inning, but they were winning 6-1 over the Harbor Hawks. So they got the win last night to kind of turn things around, and now they're going to try to beat Falmouth for the 3rd time this season in their 3rd meeting of the year. 2 more meetings after tonight's game in the back half, or next week rather, and one will be at Falmouth, one will be here in Cotuit. So if you count tonight, 3 games left between these two sides that is known to be a rivalry, and they're right neck and neck in the standings. So if Falmouth can go out there and beat the Kettleers, you're not only helping yourself by winning, but you're also forcing the team that's right there with you to lose. So you're basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and that's what they need to do tonight.
The 2 games that Falmouth and Cotuit have played up to this point in the summer have been about as close as you could ask for and have been really, really tight down the stretch. Like Matt mentioned, Cotuit has won both of the games this summer, so they lead the series here in this 2021 year 2-0. But it's been a 4-3 win and a 3-2 win for the Kettleers. And Falmouth, of course, will be hungry, looking for that first win against their rival team tonight. Well, before we jump into tonight, let's throw it back to last night's game. A really good win for Falmouth at home against a good YD team. It was the 2nd shutout that the Commodores have had this season in terms of holding the opposition scoreless. It was a 2-0 win over YD. Falmouth, like we mentioned before, picked up its 2nd win in a row. And the offense wasn't really there for Falmouth again. But again, the pitching staff carried this ball club. Mikey Tepper with 5 scoreless innings, only giving up 1 hit on the mound. Chuck Harrison, Casey Hunt out of the bullpen, gave combined 4 scoreless innings as well. And just all around, last night was a really good night for the pitching staff and something that has started to shine as of late.
Well, the pitchers were unbelievable last night, and when you can pitch that well, especially when you give up no runs, even if you give up a few, you put your team in a position to win. And the offense came through when it needed to last night. 7 hits for Falmouth, only 2 runs, but they can be happy with 7 hits. And that was pretty much the entire lineup. Only 2 players in the lineup last night didn't reach on a hit. That was Michael Curiali and Luke Boyers. Curiali reached on a walk, though. Boyers the only one to not reach base in the game. So when you're getting guys on like that throughout the entire lineup and your pitchers hold a game the way they did last night, you're in a position to win every single night. And so if they can get that tonight again, give their offense just a slight chance, and any chance you can get from the pitching staff to stay in a ball game is something that you need to capitalize on. Last night they did when they needed to.
Adam Stone will be taking the mound tonight for Falmouth, making his 3rd start of the season, but his 1st since June 27th. The guy who was away from the Commodores for just shy of a month, playing down with the U.S. Collegiate National Team in the North Carolina area, including playing 3 games against the Olympic team, which is now in Tokyo to play in the Olympics. So he got a whole bunch of experience down there, comes back up to the Commodores to make his 3rd start of the season. But before we get into talking about his numbers, Matt was able to catch up with pitching coach Mike Landry pregame. So let's take a listen to what Coach Landry had to say.
So, Coach, a really good pitching performance yesterday, just the whole staff. Tepper with a good start, and then the bullpen was really solid as well. What have you seen over the last couple of days that's made this pitching staff continue to get better?
The effort, the guys are coming to the field every day, looking to get better, looking to work on things in their sides. We consistently talk about the same things over and over again, so hopefully that's starting to not sound like a broken record and sinking in. Simple things, just get ahead, stay ahead, win the one-on-one count, and try to turn the order over as fast as possible.
And Adam Stone starting today after a brief trip with Team USA.
Right.
How excited are you for him that he got that opportunity? And has he told you anything about it?
Yeah, we talked briefly yesterday upon his return. And it sounds like he had an unbelievable experience, as I would have imagined it would have been. We're excited for him. We're even more excited that he's back with us.
And what does this team need to do just overall over the next week and a half to make that playoff push?
We're doing the same thing that we tried to be doing the whole time, I guess. Take care of the baseball. On the pitching side of things, continue to attack the zone, stay ahead of guys, kind of let them get themselves out, know what we're trying to do and not do too much. And then the offensive side of things, get them on, get them over, get them in.
Thanks, Coach.
Welcome back into Lowell Park here in Cotuit as Falmouth and Cotuit set to duke it out for the first time this year here at Lowell Park. And just before that national anthem, you were able to hear from pitching coach Mike Landry, who Matt caught up with in the pregame. And Matt, you asked them a lot, but one of the most notable things, talking about Adam Stone's experience down with the collegiate national team. We'll see what he was able to pick up there and bring back to the Cape with him.
Well, he got to face the Olympic team, which has former big leaguers on it for Team USA. Struck out Todd Frazier, who's a several times he's been an all-star in Major League Baseball, had a really long career, a veteran, and recently just stepped away from the majors and now is playing probably the most notable name on the Olympic team for the Team USA, and Adam Stone was able to face him and strike him out. So just even picking up experience like that, facing off against guys who have done what he's trying to do, pick their brains about it. I'm still hoping to talk to Adam more about the whole experience and everything, but to just pick up little things and tweak his game a little bit to try and get better and get on that path to get to the next level even more so is just huge for Adam, and I'm excited to see his outing tonight to see what he picked up.
So in the 2 starts that Adam has had so far this summer, 5 total innings that he's pitched with an ERA of 7.2. He's given up 6 hits and has had 5 strikeouts on his name. It was the first start against Chatham back on June 20th, the season opener for the Commodores. There he got the start and gave up 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 5 total runs over 3 innings in that start, what ended up being a 7-7 tie for the Commodores. He had to start a week later at Hyannis and went 2 scoreless innings and struck out a batter in that, but he faced the minimum over those 2 innings, and so he'll be looking to carry that over in addition to what he learned with the U.S. Collegiate National Team down in the North Carolina area. So Cotuit will take the field now here at Lowell Park, and on the mound for them will be Jake Brooks, who makes the start here at home tonight for the 12-14 Kettleers. Like we mentioned before, this is a big game with potential playoff implications for both sides. As it currently stands, Cotuit sitting at second in the Western Division with a .462 mod win percentage. Falmouth in third with a .440 mod win percentage. But a win tonight would move Falmouth up into second place in the Western Division behind Bourne and would give the Commodores the opportunity to control their destiny down the stretch. So we'll see how the Commodores are able to handle that tonight. But Matt, let's take a look at Jake Brooks, who tonight makes his 5th start of the season for this Cotuit team. He's been really good on the year, 25 1/3 innings of work, just a 1.42 ERA does the sophomore out of UCLA have.
Well, I think the impressive thing is that ERA, keeping it low. He's only given up 6 runs and 4 earned runs over the course of 25 1/3 innings. If he's going to continue to do that, and also the walks and the strikeouts, completely different. He's got 20 strikeouts and just 2 walks on the mound. When you limit base runners, you give your team a chance to win. So when he's on the mound, his team is always in a spot to win. When he's pitched, Cotuit is 3-3 so far, but most of the times when he's on the mound, it's been limited scoring from the opposing side. So tonight for Falmouth, they just got to attack in early counts and just try to get on fastballs, because we've seen over the course of when they've struggled offensively, they get deep into counts and then they go down on a breaking ball. So if they can avoid that tonight and just be aggressive. And again, that timely hitting we talk about every game. If they're able to do that, they'll be in a good spot.
Here's the Commodores lineup for tonight. Cody Colden will lead things off and play at third. Casey Harford, the second hitter, plays at shortstop. Jace Borfin, the 3-man, plays out in right field. Chris Armstrong, the cleanup, doing the cleanup duties tonight, playing at first. Taylor Smith, the 5-hitter, and doing tonight's catching. Anthony Hall out in left field, bats 6th. Michael Curiali bats 7th and plays at second. Jonathan French, the designated hitter, bats 8th. And Luke Boyers rounds out this lineup, playing in center field for Falmouth tonight. Colden will step in from the right side of the box, and we're underway here at 5:02 in Cotuit, and the first pitch is fanned on by Colden, and so the count now 0-1 here on the Washington State Cougar. Falmouth wearing their typical road uniforms with the black tops and the maroon numbering and lettering with Falmouth written across the front of the jerseys. Gray pants with a black or maroon stripe down the side, and maroon socks for the team as well. Cotuit in their home pinstripe uniforms with Cotuit written across the front in their black numbering and lettering, and maroon socks for their team as well. Count sits at 0-2 here on Cody Colden, and Brooks comes home with a pitch that's low and outside, and there's our first ball of the ball game. It's now 1-2 here on Colden. Colden comes into tonight riding a 3-game hitting streak for the Commodores. Moves back up into the leadoff spot for Coach Trundy's team after moving around a couple different spots over the last few days. And the 1-2, a slow chopper over to third. Carter Trice charges in, a running throw across his body, but he's able to make the out in time over to first. And Colden is retired for the first out of this ball game.
Colden had the right approach there. He swung at the first pitch of the game as the leadoff hitter, trying to hit that fastball down the middle. It was blown right by him, and then he fell into an 0-2 count. Took a pitch, and then was just able to fight off another one, but it went in play, and it was a slow ground ball. But he still ran out of the box hard, so can be happy with that to start this game.
Casey Harford, the first pitch he sees, he fouls high behind home plate off the dirt. And so the count now 0-1 here on the UT Martin hitter. Harford playing in his 6th game for the Commodores. He's hitting .250 at the plate so far. He's 5 for 20 for Falmouth, and he's locked into that shortstop position. And the second pitch runs inside on him and ends up catching him up in the upper arm. And so he's okay. He tosses his bat over to first and takes the trot down to first.
Last night, Harford was hit by a pitch, but he swung at it, so he was called out on strikes, that being the 3rd strike of the at-bat. Tonight, takes that one right off the upper body and able to get down to first for his first hit by pitch of the season.
So that brings up now Jace Borfin, who also comes in tonight with a 3-game hitting streak. Stands in from the left side and a throw over to first. Back in standing up is Harford. Borfin on the year, been Falmouth's best hitter, hitting .299 at the plate. He's 26 for 87 with 6 doubles, a triple, and 5 home runs on the year. First pitch home now from Brooks. Catches the outside corner, and the count now 0-1 here on Borfin. We mentioned coming into tonight that Falmouth 0-2 this summer against Cotuit. 2 losses that have been each decided by 1 run. And Falmouth has struggled against these Kettleers, just hitting .129 against Cotuit so far this summer. As another throw over to first, back in with a head-first slide safely is Casey Harford. And Falmouth has also struck out 29 times against the Kettleers in the 2 games this summer. Here's the 0-1 now from Brooks. A breaking ball that runs low on the outside corner of the plate, and the count now 1-1 here on Jace Borfin. No Commodore has had more than 1 hit against Cotuit in the 2 games this summer, as the 1-1 now comes inside on Colden. Doesn't move his feet out of the way, but it landed down near his toes. And the count now 2-1. Beautiful day here in Cotuit. Really a beautiful day all around the Cape. Temperatures hovering in the mid-70s. Very few clouds in the sky. And just a really nice afternoon and evening for a ball game. Here's the 2-1 now from Brooks, and it's blooped out into right center field. Coming on are the outfielders. Diving is the center fielder, Grady, and he can't make the grab as it falls just out of the reach of his glove. And so in safely at second is Casey Harford. Jace Borfin picks up the first base hit of the ball game, and the Commodores now with 2 aboard with just 1 gone.
Borfin extends his hitting streak to 4 games now and got a good pitch to hit and drove it out into right center field. And if you can find a gap, you'll be pretty successful. And Borfin is, for his first at-bat tonight, 1 for 1 now. Just continuing that to pass the baton. As Coach Landry said in the pregame show, get guys on and move them around.
See now what Chris Armstrong can do as he digs in for his first at-bat of the night here in the top of the first. Scoreless between Falmouth and Cotuit, and the first pitch from Brooks comes inside on Chris Armstrong. And the count now 1-0 here on the Florida hitter. Armstrong yesterday went 1 for 4 in the win over YD, picked up a double in that ball game. A 2-0 win for the Commodores back at the Gov. Brooks comes set on the mound, holds the ball about neck high, couple looks towards second, and comes home now with the 1-0, and it's slowly chopped over to the pitcher in Brooks. He makes the field off the mound, and the throw over to first in time. Both base runners able to advance, so Casey Harford now at third, and at second is Jace Borfin, and everybody was a little late to react with that ball put in play. I think some guys may have thought that it was foul, but nonetheless, they get the out and move the runners up.
That had all kinds of spin off the bat. Hit the end of the bat, almost the top of it, and just spun in play. An easy play for the pitcher Jake Brooks to make, but his only play to first base, and that's a productive job by Chris Armstrong to move the runners now, both of them, into scoring position for Taylor Smith, who's been really solid at the plate in terms of power and driving guys in. Now you got 2 guys in scoring position, 2 outs here in the first. If you can bring them home, you get out early and you give Adam Stone a lead when he comes to the mound. If not, you strand 2 in scoring position in the first inning, and the taste in your mouth is just a little bit different.
We've talked about time and time again how that timely hitting for Falmouth has improved as the season has gone on, as a breaking ball is blown past the bat of Taylor Smith, and the count now 0-1 here on the Texas A&M catcher. Smith has picked up a base hit in 5 of his last 6 games. He's only hitting 200 on the year, but like Matt mentioned, that power has really shown. 3 doubles, 4 home runs on the season, including picking up a home run last night against YD. As the 0-1 now from the right-hander Brooks is able to catch the outside corner, and now the count 0-2 with 2 gone and 2 aboard here for Taylor Smith. Casey Harford reached on a hit-by pitch, and then Jace Borfin singled to center. So that's how the 2 guys got aboard for Falmouth here in the top of the first. Brooks set on the mound, doesn't look towards the bases as he comes home with a breaking ball, and Taylor Smith waves at it, can't get any contact. And so on 3 pitches, Taylor Smith goes down, and Jake Brooks picks up his first strikeout of the night as he strands a couple here in the first. We'll move to the bottom half of the inning, and Cotuit coming to bat for the first time this evening here from Lowell Park. Bottom of the first here from Lowell Park, and Adam Stone on the mound for the third time this summer. The 6'6" right-hander out of Harvard makes his third start of the season for Falmouth, but his first since June 27th after spending a few weeks down with the USA Collegiate National Team. He's on the mound for Falmouth as Jace Grady will step to the plate to lead things off for the Kettleers. Grady, the leadoff man, plays out in center. Carter Trice, the two-hitter, plays at third. Luke Gold, the three-hitter, plays at first. Eric Brown, the cleanup man, plays at second. Noah Bridges, the five-hitter, is in right. Matthew Suggs, the left fielder, bats sixth. Nathan Martorella, designated hitter, bats seventh. Matt Donlin, the catcher, bats eighth. And Ryan Ritter is rounding out this lineup at shortstop as the first pitch from Adam Stone runs low and inside, and it gets away from Taylor Smith behind the plate. And the count now 1-0 here on Jace Grady. This is the second start for Adam Stone away from the Gov this summer. That other start coming at Hyannis back on June 27th, went 2 scoreless innings and only faced 6 batters in that outing as the 1-0 is fouled back behind home plate, and now the count 1-1 here on Grady. Grady playing in his 10th game for the Kettleers, hitting .281 through those first 10 games. He's the top hitter in terms of batting average on this team, but a smaller sample size than some of the other guys, just 9 for 32 at the plate as the 1-1 comes upstairs on him, and now the count 2-1 on the left-handed hitter. Kettleers coming off a win last night in just 6 innings against Hyannis to end a 5-game losing streak. No lights here at Lowell Park, so that's part of the reason for this 5 o'clock start as the 2-2 is in at the belt, and now the count 2-2 here on Grady. But last night some weather came over Lowell Park while the Kettleers and Harbor Hawks were playing, and the game got delayed, but because there's no lights, by the time everything cleared up, just couldn't get a full 9 innings in as the 2-2 now low, and the count goes full here on Grady. This is one of 3 parks in the league with no lights, the other 2 being YD as well as Brewster. And Falmouth doesn't play at either of those ballparks anymore. They'll have just one more game here this summer after tonight. Here comes the payoff pitch, and it's fouled over towards the Commodores' dugout, and it hits off the netting in front of the dugout, and the count remains full. Grady just finished up his freshman season at Dallas Baptist. This past year hit .337 for them in 49 games. Had 40 RBIs on the year, 17 doubles, 3 triples, and 4 home runs. So a good hitter here that Adam Stone starts off against. The 6'6" right-hander comes set, and now comes home with the 3-2, and it's popped up behind home plate, tailing towards getting out of play, and it's just barely going to get out of the fence, maybe 2 feet beyond the fence behind home plate, where it takes a bounce off the roofing in front of the press box, and the count remains full here on Grady.
Adam Stone's having to work hard in the first batter that he faces tonight. First start in almost a month here on the Cape, being with Team USA at the collegiate level, but of course, the first guy he has to face is going to have an absolute battle at the plate.
Here comes the 3-2 again from Stone, and this one's hit over on the right side towards Michael Curiali. He comes in on it and is able to field it and throw over to Chris Armstrong in time for out number 1.
Stone, a really good job not to lose the hitter Grady there and to continue to attack him with a 3-2 count, not leave one out of the zone, just let him make contact with it. And it works for him as he gets the first out.
So that'll bring up now Carter Trice, the third baseman for this Cotuit team. Playing in just his 4th game for the Kettleers. Cotuit has a lot of guys who recently joined the team and have only been here for a week or 2. If you were at or watched either one of the games that Falmouth played against Cotuit back at the Gov, either on the 4th of July or the following week on July 11th, a lot of those guys no longer here as the first pitch to Carter Trice just outside for ball 1. But we mentioned Grady in his 10th game, Carter Trice playing in his 4th game. The 5-hitter Noah Bridges is in his 5th game. Matthew Suggs is in his 4th game. Really the only guys that fans may recognize, Ryan Ritter and Luke Gold. Those are 2 of the guys who have been here for a longer stretch of the season as the 1-0 comes inside on Trice. Now the count 2-0.
A lot of shakeup after the MLB draft, and that's when we saw Cotuit the last time. So it's been sort of a different makeup for them and a bunch of other teams around the Cape as well. Falmouth with pretty much a very similar roster that they had after that.
2-0 is inside on Trice as he scoots out of the way from the pitch, and now 3-0. And yeah, Falmouth has brought some guys in and has had some guys go, but for the most part, this team has had a very similar makeup since the first day of the summer. But Cotuit's very different up to this point as the count sits at 3-0 here in the bottom of the first on Carter Trice. And the payoff, or in the easy pitch from Stone, is in for a strike. And now the count 3-1 here on Carter Trice. Trice just 1 for 10 at the plate in his first 3 games for Cotuit. He struck out 3 times, but he's ahead in the count here at 3-1 as Adam Stone comes home with the pitch. And this one's able to find the outside corner of the plate about knee-high on Trice. And the count now full here on the Old Dominion hitter. Trice out of Mechanicsville, Virginia, where he just finished up his freshman season at Old Dominion. So staying pretty close to home to play with them as the payoff pitch comes home from Stone, and it's low and scoots just behind Taylor Smith behind the dish. And so throwing his bat over towards the Kettleers dugout is Trice, and he's on with 1 gone here in the bottom of the first.
Something that Coach Landry talked about to me before the game was the ability of getting ahead on guys when you're on the mound. That's been a success story over the last couple of games for Falmouth, and they've pitched much better when they get ahead. And that time, Adam Stone falls behind 3-0. Tough to come back from that, but now he's got to attack Luke Gold.
Luke Gold steps up to the plate from the right side and watches a first pitch ball come in outside off the plate. And so the count now 1-0 here on the Boston College hitter, who's playing in his 25th game for Cotuit. So far hitting .260 for the Kettleers with 3 doubles, 4 home runs, and 18 RBIs on the year. As a throw over towards first, back in safely with a head first slide is Trice, who only has 1 stolen bag on the season. Scoreless here on the bottom of the first between Falmouth and Cotuit. Adam Stone on the mound, and another quick throw over towards first. Trice was coming out into the base paths while Stone threw that ball over and quickly had to get back to first, but again in safely. Count remains 1-0 here on Luke Gold, and the 1-0 comes in now upstairs on the Boston College hitter, and so now it's 2-0 on Gold. Talking about Adam Stone with the USA Collegiate National Team, last played, or pitched, I should say, on July 19th when the Collegiate National Team took on the Olympic National Team at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park in Durham, North Carolina. And Adam Stone pitched a third of an inning, but like Matt mentioned, he was able to strike out probably the one guy that anyone would want to strike out in Todd Frazier, as the 2-0 is ripped but fouled down the left field line as it rolls all the way to the fence. A good charge behind that ball, but the count now 2-1 on Gold. Olympic National Team will get going in just a few days out in Tokyo. 6 total teams at the Olympics as baseball makes its return in the Olympics for the first time in a little while. As the 2-1 comes home now, running on the pitch is Carter Trice, but the ball fouled into the backstop, so he'll go back to first, and the count now 2-2 here on Luke Gold.
That time Trice got just a walking lead. He never really stopped in his lead, just kept creeping out, and then just took off. And Stone really didn't pay attention to him on that time. So that's a good attempt for Trice to take, kind of reading the timing of Stone on the mound. Stone's got to mix it up just a bit.
Counts it's at 2-2 here on Luke Gold. Adam Stone really working here in this opening inning against Cotuit. As time is called by Gold, steps out and now steps back in to the right-hander hitter box. Here comes the 2-2 now from Stone, a breaking ball that tails outside, and the count now full here on Carter Trice. On Luke Gold. So Jace Grady grounded out after several foul balls and a full count that he had. Carter Trice then walked, and Luke Gold now with a 3-2 count. So every batter so far has reached a 3-ball count from Adam Stone as another throw over towards first. And Again, Trice back in with a head first slide. Stone looks towards home, where Taylor Smith does the catching tonight. Comes set, and now the payoff pitch is running on it is Carter Trice, but it's not going to matter because the pitch was high and away. And so back-to-back walks given up here by Adam Stone, and there's now runners on first and second for the Kettleers here in the bottom of the first.
That's going to get Mike Landry to come out and talk to Stone after a couple of walks, falling behind on hitters, 3-0 and 2-0 over the last two guys. So you just got to get ahead. We'll settle down just a little bit.
Stone has only given up multiple walks once this summer in that 7-7 tie against Chatham back on June 20th. He gave up 3 walks over 3 innings. But so far tonight, 2 walks over a third of an inning of work. And like Matt mentioned, Mike Landry out now to talk with his young pitcher alongside Taylor Smith. Both of the base runners, Carter Trice, Luke Gold, trot over towards third to talk with Mike Roberts, the third base coach and also the head coach for this Cotuit team in his 17th season with the Kettleers, a team that won the 2019 championship here at Lowell Park, and a team that also knocked out Falmouth from the postseason. Landry will go back towards the dugout now, and both runners will go back to their respective bases. Trice on second, Gold on first, and that brings up the cleanup man, Eric Brown, as he looks towards third to see if Mike Roberts is going to give him any signs. He's not. And so Eric Brown will dig in here for his first at-bat of the night with just 1 gone here in the bottom of the first. Brown hitting .256 on the summer out of Coastal Carolina. And Stone with a look back towards second. Comes home with the first pitch of the at-bat, and it's on the outside part of the plate for ball 1. Brown with a batting stance that some may say resembles maybe Kevin Youkilis. He holds the bat really high up in the air, maybe even to an extent Rafael Devers with how he holds it when he steps up to the plate as the 1-0 is upstairs, and now it's 2-0 here on Brown.
You got to have some quick hands to be able to hold the bat that way and bring it in front of your head and then all the way back to load, all while trying to hit the ball. And Brown, a second baseman, a middle infielder, so he does have the quick hands and the ability to do that.
Counts it's at 2-0 here on Brown. Stone looks back towards second. Another look. And now he comes home with the pitch. And this one is just low. And now the count 3-0 here on Brown. So make it now 4 straight batters where Adam Stone has gotten up to 3 balls on the hitter. And he's really working here in this opening inning against Cotuit. And he's going to step off now and call time to get on the same page with Taylor Smith. Carter Trice at second, Luke Gold on first. Both reached via walk. And both on here with just 1 gone in the bottom of the first. Scoreless between Falmouth and Cotuit as the 3-0 comes home, and it's right over the heart of the plate. And the count now 3-1 here on Brown. Both games so far this year, Cotuit has been the team to strike first against Falmouth. And the team's first meeting back on the 4th of July would ended up being a 4-3 win for the Kettleers. Cotuit scored 2 runs in the second and 2 in the third as the 3-1 pitch is fouled off, and now the count full here on Brown. But Cotuit scored all 4 of their runs in the first 3 innings against against Falmouth on the 4th of July. And then just a week later on July 11th, Cotuit scored 1 in the third and 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, en route to a 3-2 victory over Falmouth. But the count sits full here on Eric Brown as Adam Stone steps off again, and he'll now step back onto the rubber. And now time is called again, this time by Eric Brown. So everyone calling time at this rate. Count full here on the right-handed hitter, Brown. Here comes the payoff pitch from Stone way upstairs above the head, height-wise, of Eric Brown. And so make that now 3 straight walks given up by Adam Stone, and the bases are loaded here for the 5-hitter, Noah Bridges.
Well, Stone works himself into a jam. He's going to have to try and work out of it. This top of the order, just 1 out. He retired Grady. Since then, 3 straight walks and has fallen behind every hitter. If he can get ahead with a first pitch strike, he's going to feel a lot more confident no matter who he's facing. And this time it's Noah Bridges.
Bridges digs in from the left side of the plate and looks on at Adam Stone with the bases loaded. First pitch to him was upstairs, but he waves his bat around, and about 3/4 of the way through that swing, he stopped, but by that point, too late. So the count sits at 0-1 here on Bridges, and maybe that'll help Stone with a first pitch strike, something he hasn't been able to do really this evening. Bridges a couple taps of home plate, and now the 0-1 from Adam Stone. This one is high and away, and the count runs even at 1-1 here on Bridges. Bridges playing in his 5th game for Cotuit. Does his collegiate playing at UNCW down in Wilmington, North Carolina. Sitting .250 so far for the Kettleers, just 3 for 12 at the plate. Does have 2 RBIs on the season, as the 1-1 now from Stone is inside, and now ahead in the count is Bridges with a 2-1 count. Can't see from our vantage point here the bullpen. I doubt anyone active yet, but if somebody were to come up in this opening inning or at any point in the ball game, can't see them from where we are seated out here. Just behind home plate to the right of it is the 2-1, is grounded up the middle. Curiali over to his right, makes the underhand grab, flips to Hartford, and they get the out at second, but there's no throw over to first, so 1 run will score in Carter Trice, who comes in from third. Moving to third is Luke Gold, Eric Brown out at second, and Noah Bridges reaches with a fielder's choice.
Well, that's a productive way to drive in a run. Just hit the ball up the middle.
All right, apologies there for some technical hiccups that we had here. For some reason, our soundboard disconnecting from our computer, but back now here in the top of the third with Jace Borfin on first, and the count sitting at 0-2 here on Chris Armstrong. Again, apologies for that brief technical hiccup as the 0-2 ripped down the right field line, tailing towards the foul pole, and it's gone. Chris Armstrong has himself his 5th home run of the season, and Falmouth jumps out to a 4-1 lead over Cotuit here at Lowell Park. Armstrong all smiles as he touches them all here in Cotuit.
I'll tell you who had no difficulties. It was Chris Armstrong just crushing one to right field. He's been doing that all season too. He's now got the tie for the team lead in homers with Jace Borfin. Again, getting guys on, bringing them around to score. And when you hit a home run with a runner on base, it's just that much better to add on to your lead. And Armstrong, from both sides of the plate, has just been raking all season.
Well, Falmouth has attacked Jake Brooks so much tonight as Taylor Smith swings through strike one from Brooks. Brooks tonight really struggling for Cotuit, already giving up 4 runs into tonight's ball game. A guy who had been solid through his first few starts this year as the 0-1 comes upstairs on Smith. Brooks hadn't allowed more than 4 runs in a ball game this summer. His most was 3 in his last outing against Bourne. A 3-1 loss for the Kettleers as the 1-1 is ripped but foul down the third base line. And now behind in the count is Smith as it's 1-2. But tonight he's already given up 5 hits to the Commodores. He's also given up a hit by pitch, an E5. Well, that wasn't him, but still a guy reaching on an E5. And Falmouth with 4 runs across in this ball game as the 1-2 now to Taylor Smith is a breaking ball down low and the count 2-2. So all of a sudden tonight, it's a reversal of what it's been the last few days. The starting pitching, not there for Falmouth, but the bats and the offense coming back to life. Here's the 2-2 from Brooks. A breaking ball that's tailing and hooking down the third base line, and it lands just barely foul as the third base umpire in Chuck Furlong has to move out of the way before issuing his foul call. So the count's still 2-2.
That is so close to being extra bases again for Taylor Smith, but it's just a game of inches, baseball is.
So the count's still 2-2 as the pitch again from Brooks, and this one just outside, and the count now full here on Taylor Smith. We've only had a few games this summer where both the offense and the starting pitching has really gelled into one complete game for Falmouth.
It's been either one of them working well or neither of them working well. But tonight, it's been the offense, and a shaky start from Adam Stone bumped him out with 4 walks in the first inning, but Anthony DeFabia after that has been pretty solid.
The payoff pitch from Brooks was down in the dirt, so Taylor Smith reaches on a walk. That's the first walk tonight issued by Jake Brooks. And now some movement out in the Kettleers bullpen beyond the left field wall. Couple of guys standing up in some hoodies, and we'll wait and see if they get anybody up as Anthony Hall digs in. Still with only 1 out here in the top of the third, and a ball down in the dirt, but Hall with a big swing around. And so he's behind now at 0-1 in the count. Hall singled and came around to score the first run of the ball game for the Commodores back in the second. So 1 for 1 in tonight's ball game. As Brooks with the 0-1 pitch now comes inside on Hall, and the count runs even at 1-1. So last night, Falmouth only able to put up 2 runs. A couple nights before that against Bourne, they put up 4 runs in that ball game, but it took until the 5th inning to score anything. Before that, just 1 run that Falmouth had on Tuesday against Brewster as the 1-1 pitch is popped up on the left side and tailing into foul territory. Coming on is the left fielder, Matthew Suggs, and just barely is able to make the grab. He almost overran it in the foul territory, but Anthony Hall pops out for the second out of this inning.
There's just so much foul territory beyond the left and right side and behind home plate. We've been talking about this all game, but that was barely all the way foul. It was hugging the line for a little bit, and then I think that's why Suggs almost overran it. He thought that there was going to be well in foul territory. Instead, it was just a little bit to the left of that third base line, and he is just able to readjust at the last second to make the catch.
Here's Michael Curiali, who takes strike one at the belt.
It could be pretty disorienting with that much space and grass to cover in foul territory where you think you're close to the fence, but you're really not because there's so much room.
Here's the 0-1 now from Jake Brooks, and it's ripped right to the shortstop, Ryan Ritter. And Michael Curiali, who had a single in his first at-bat, ends up lining out in his second at-bat, and that ends the inning. But Falmouth able to bring across 2 more runs as Chris Armstrong goes yard for the 5th time this season, and it's now 4-1 Commodores as we move to the bottom of the third here from Lowell Park. Anthony DeFabio is still on the mound for the Commodores as we move into the bottom of the third here from Lowell Park with Falmouth on top over the Cotuit Kettleers by a score of 4-1. Falmouth with 2 runs in the second and 2 in the third to jump ahead of their rival. 2 teams that are separated by only about 10 miles here between Falmouth and Cotuit, just a short drive up Highway 28, and you'll find yourself at the other team's ballpark. As leading off this inning will be Eric Brown, 4, 5, and 6 set to come up for Cotuit. As Brown digs in and looks on at DeFabio for the first time tonight, and the first pitch to him catches the inside corner of the plate for strike 1. Brown walked back in the first and then was out at second on the fielder's choice from Noah Bridges. So officially now his first at-bat of the night as the 0-1 runs low, and the count now 1-1 here on Brown. Falmouth can hold on to this lead. Commodores will shoot up into second place in the Western Division, and that's all you need to make the playoffs this year. Have to be in the first or second spot as the 1-1 is on the ground on the third base line, but foul as it kind of hugged the line going down that way and then eventually rolled to the left of the foul line. So the count now 1-2 here on Brown. Brown was almost at first when he finally found out it was foul. So takes a long walk back towards home and now picks up his bat, and he'll step back in with a 1-2 count. Good crowd on hand here at Lowell Park for Falmouth's first game here this summer. Bleachers on both sides pretty much full as the 1-2 from DeFabio. Check swing. They're going to peel down to first. And Mike Hinojosa, the first base umpire, are going to say he did not go around. So the count goes to 2-2 here on Brown. Fans also with chairs set up along the fencing that runs behind and right near home plate. Here's the 2-2 from DeFabia, and it's popped up into center field. Luke Boyer's going over towards his right, and just in front of the fence is able to make the running grab for out number 1. That ball carried a little further than it looked off the bat, but nonetheless, Boyers gets it for the first out of the inning.
Boyer's just such a solid center fielder. He runs to the spot where he thinks the ball is going to go. Then he finds the ball back in the air. Instead of chasing it the whole time, he's looking at the fence. He knows exactly where he is on the field, keeping his hand out to feel so he doesn't run all the way into the fence. And just shy of the wall, a really long fly out from Eric Brown, who just continues to hit the ball hard, but hits one into an out.
That brings up Noah Bridges, who swings through strike 1 and is behind in the count now at 0-1. Bridges reached on a fielder's choice back in the first. Commodores tried to turn a double play, and they got the out at second, but couldn't get the out at first as Bridges, shows bunt, but pulls back, and the count now 1-1 as that ball was low. Falmouth on top 4-1 here in the bottom of the third. Already an hour and 12 minutes into this ball game, so at this point, getting 9 innings in would be a luxury, as it looks like, at least for these two teams. As the count now 2-1 with the ball up and away. Again, no lights here at Lowell Park, so we're at the mercy of the sun, which is due to set at about 8:10 tonight, as the 2-1 is way outside, and now the count 3-1 here on Bridges.
Up to this point in the game, we've had multiple guys on base in every single inning. Top of the first, bottom of the first, top of the second, bottom of the second, top of the third. Right now in the bottom of the third, just 1 out, so it can still happen, but that's all about how slow this game is going.
3-1 is roped into left center field, hooking down, and it's going to fall for a base hit, just the second tonight for the Kettleers. And Noah Bridges has his 4th base hit as a Cotuit Kettleer. He picks it up with 1 out here in the inning, and he stands on first.
Well, we're halfway there now to having multiple guys on in every single inning through 3. Only 1 out here, and Suggs coming up, who walked already tonight. It's just guys getting on base tonight, and still somewhat of low scoring early on, but Falmouth's been able to capitalize more so than Cotuit has.
Here's Matthew Suggs, who also walked in his first at-bat of the night. As DeFabia looks over towards first. Couple looks now and comes home with the first pitch of this at-bat, which is over the plate for strike 1 here on Suggs. So Noah Bridges standing on first here with 1 gone in the bottom of the third. Falmouth on top 4-1. And here's the 0-1 pitch now from DeFabia. Big swing and a miss from Suggs. And DeFabia quickly ahead at 0-2. Something that DeFabia hasn't really been in that spot tonight. Has been an 0-2 count and freedom to kind of work with the batter to get something his way. Comes set now and holds the ball belt high. Look towards home, a look towards first. And now look back towards home as he comes home with the 0-2. And it's upstairs as Taylor Smith has to stand up to stop that ball. Count now 1-2 here on Suggs. Sun continuing to set behind Cotuit's third base dugout. As the 1-2 now is swung on and missed, and Anthony DeFabia has himself his first strikeout of the night. That's the second out of this inning. And that's got to feel pretty good for DeFabia to finally pick up.
First strikeout of the night for any pitcher for the Commodores of Adam Stone or DeFabia. It's the second out of the third inning offensively for Cotuit, and they're a little over 1.5 ways through the lineup, so almost 2 times through the lineup, and they get their first strikeout. So again, they're getting guys on base and they're putting the ball in play tonight, not really going down too easily.
That brings up Nathan Martorella, who grounded out to Chris Armstrong to end the first. Out of UC Berkeley is Martorella, playing in his 20th game tonight for Cotuit. And the first pitch home to him from DeFabia is grounded foul down the first base side. A couple of hops, and then Chris Armstrong ends up stopping the ball. And he'll give it back to his pitcher, who's now heading the count at 0-1. Martorella out of Berkeley, just finished up his sophomore season, a California native from Salinas, California. Hit .237 with the Bears this past season. Was able to hit 5 home runs in 55 games. Here's the 1-2 from DeFabia. As running on the pitch is Suggs, but it's fouled over towards the Commodores' dugout, and the count remains here at 0-2. Martorella this past season, 53 starts and just one of 4 Golden Bears to play in all 55 of their games. Most of his starts coming at first base for them as the 0-2 just inside. And it's now 1-2 here on Martorella. He's had a good bat through his first 20 or so games with Cotuit, as the 1-2 is just fouled off. And it got a piece of Taylor Smith, who comes out from behind home plate to walk around and try and walk off that hit, as the count's still 1-2.
I think that clipped either the left or right arm for Taylor Smith. That one spot that's really not covered are the arms and the thighs of a catcher. So anywhere that it hits there off a foul ball just stings a little bit, but Smith's not going to show anybody that that hurts.
1-2, and before that, a throw over towards first. Can't imagine sometimes at the end of the night, all the brown and blue bruises that catchers have. Anyone can have them, but especially catchers. The 1-2 upstairs running on the pitch is Suggs. The throw down to second, and it gets away from Hartford as it trails into center field. Luke Boyers picks it up, and Bridges almost started to run towards third, but he's going to hold at second. So Bridges picks up his first stolen base of the summer for Cotuit, and he's now in scoring position as the count sits at 2-2 here on Martorella. Seen Smith be pretty accurate this summer and has thrown out a few guys, both him and Jonathan French, who split the catching for Falmouth, but just not a good throw there to Hartford at second. So Bridges now leads off of second. Count sitting at 2-2 here on Martorella. A look back towards second, and the pitch home now is popped up on the infield, just barely on the right side, as Michael Curiali gets under it, and in the infield makes the grab for the third out of this inning. Cotuit strands a runner here in the third, and we'll move to the fourth. It's 4-1 Falmouth, and Matt will take over on play-by-play when we come back from the Whole Park.
We go to the fourth inning here tonight from Lowell Park, and the Commodores lead 4-1 over the Cotuit Kettleers as they look to make that push towards the second spot in the West Division and take it right over this Cotuit team. Matt Levine with my partner David Hadar. Commodores so far tonight, 4 runs on 5 hits, no errors, and 1 run on 2 hits and an error for the Kettleers. It'll be 8-9 in top. Due up in this top of the 4th inning against Jake Brooks. So Jonathan French will lead things off. First pitch. Breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-1 to French. French tonight reached on an error that drove in a run. He doesn't get the RBI, but put a ball in play that scored a run back in the 2nd inning. That's when Anthony Hall came around to score. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball lined out in the left field past the leaping Trice at third, and it's dropped in for a base hit. Jonathan French will stop at first as Suggs, the left fielder, gets it into second, and it's a leadoff single for French to start this 4th inning.
Well, we've seen Falmouth all night tonight have some really good swings at the plate. That's evidenced by the 6 hits that the team has so far, but they've also had some really good lineouts as well. We saw Michael Curiali have one. Cody Coldwin had one as well to end the 2nd. But that ball there from Jonathan French, a similar line ball, but just over the head of Trice at third. So a good spot, and the leadoff man aboard for Falmouth.
Boyer shows bunt, gets it down, but foul to the third base side. So now he's behind in the count, 0-1. 6 hits already for the Commodores. They had 7 last night and only scored 2 runs. But they've continued to start to become better offensively. 6 hits against Bourne a couple of games ago. So once that offense starts to wake up, this team can really maybe make some damage towards that playoff push. As the 0-1 misses inside to Boyers, it's now 1-1. Brooks out of UCLA, Boyers out of TCU. French on first base here in the top of the 4th. 1-1 pitch. Fastball low below the knees. It's 2-1 to Boyers.
And we hear all the time Falmouth is historically known as a second-half team, and that this team, despite the position it was sitting in even a week ago at 4th place and not riding too hot of a streak, a 5-game losing streak, has picked things up as of late.
2-1, flied out into right field. The right fielder Bridges is there, moving over to his right in the gap to make the catch. An easy play for the right fielder for the first out of the 4th.
Yeah, the only thing that makes that play a bit tougher is he has the sun in his direction, but looking almost straight up, doesn't really have to deal with it too much. So able to get there for first out of this inning, and Jonathan French stays at first for the Commodores.
That sun almost creeping below some of the trees beyond the third base side. But with 1 out, back to the top of the order. Here in the top of the 4th as French leads off first. Breaking ball misses outside, and a really good block by Donlin behind home plate to keep French at first. The count 1-0 to Colden. Colden tonight 0 for 2, grounded out to third base his first time up, and lined into a double play to end the 2nd inning. But again, like you said, continuing to hit the ball hard, and he did that when he lined out to Brown at second. Here's the 1-0 from Brooks. Breaking ball right at the letters for a strike, and it's 1-1. Colden, 48 games and 48 starts at Washington State. In 2021, he hit .320 on the season with 65 hits in those 48 games. And the 1-1 pitch. Missed away and high, now 2-1 to Colden.
Colden been almost an everyday player for Falmouth this summer. It's been the defense keeping him in the lineup. His bat has been hot at times. Comes into tonight riding a 3-game hitting streak, 0 for 2 so far. But it's really the defense of his that makes him such a key player for the Commodores.
1-1 is popped up to the right side. Brown backpedals into shallow right, and he has trouble with the sun, but able to adjust to make the catch. Couple of steps into the right field grass, Eric Brown goes and almost made it look interesting, but he's able to pull it down for the 2nd out.
Yeah, that was interesting. Rather than maybe turn and track the ball while running kind of side to side, he decided to backpedal it, and there were a couple of times it looked like he may trip over himself. Ends up just barely getting there. He also looked like he was really keeping an eye on at French at first, which I'm not sure why you would do that, but he was. So regardless, gets the 2nd out.
Here's Casey Harford, and he takes the first pitch away for a ball. It's 1-0. French still off of first after the leadoff single, and here in the fourth, so far at least, the offense stagnant after the leadoff single. A couple of guys after that hit into outs in the air, so French hasn't been able to move up. 1-0 is lined out into left field. Suggs moves in right at him to make the catch for the final out. So after the leadoff single, next three guys go down in order. And Jake Brooks is through 4 innings, and his second scoreless inning of the night comes in the top of the fourth. It's 4-1 Commodores as we move into the bottom of the fourth. Anthony DeFabia out on the mound still after coming in with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. He's been on the mound ever since and now moves into the bottom of the fourth here tonight. 2 1/3 so far on the mound for him. 2 hits, no runs, a walk, and a strikeout. And he's faced 10 hitters, so one's through the lineup and one more. Now he'll have to face 8, 9, and top here in the bottom of the fourth. A 4-1 lead for the Commodores. Matt Donlin stands in 1 for 1 with a single. Shows bunt, but pulls it back on the first pitch and takes the fastball high. It's 1-0. Donlin went 1 for 2 last night, hitting in the 8th spot against Hyannis. And the 1-0 pitch from DeFabia is popped up to the right side. Armstrong calls everybody off at first base and makes the catch just a step in front of the first base bag in fair territory for the first out.
Easy grab there for Armstrong for the first out. And DeFabia just continuing to settle in as this outing has gone on. He gave up 2 base runners in the second, but nobody came home to score. 1 base runner in the third, and starts off this fourth inning with a easy pop out for Armstrong over at first. So continuing to settle in on the mound.
Ryan Ritter takes a first pitch strike. Behind in the count 0-1. He flied out to center field in the second inning in his first time up, as DeFabia has retired 3 in a row. 0-1 is fouled. Oh, boy. A chopper into the dugout for Cotuit, inches away from drilling a couple of players, but it caught the wall instead of anybody else, thankfully.
Yeah, Cotuit's very fortunate there. Matt Donlin wasn't paying attention to what was going on and was standing up, and the ball, no joke, came in about 6 inches from his head. And so after it passed by, he kind of took a deep breath and was fortunately okay, but that's a very close call and a part of the body you do not want to get hit.
Fastball misses away. Now the count 1-2 to the hitter Ritter, but he torched that on a couple of hops into the dugout. Almost took the head off of Donlin. 1-2 is popped up to the right side, but that's well out of play, well off the bat as well. Knew that right away going into foul territory, so the count stays 1-2. Ritter, the shortstop out of Kentucky, went 1 for 2 last night with a run and an RBI. He started 52 games at shortstop for the Wildcats this past season, hit .275. 1-2 from DeFabia. It's crushed out into right center field. Boyers goes out into the gap. He's onto the wall, and it drops off of his glove and bounces into the fence. Stopping at second, standing up, is Ryan Ritter. We'll see how that's scored. Ball was hit to one of the deepest part of the ballparks into right center field. Just crushed on a line, though, so it didn't have the height to get out or the distance. But Boyer's running a long way from the left center gap to the right center gap, and it just hits off the top of his glove and into the fence.
Yeah, he was there. He just couldn't read it into his glove, and they're going to give that a double to Ryan Ritter. So he picks up his first base hit of the ball game. That's the third for the Kettleers. But for Luke Boyers, that's the kind of play that you really kick yourself about because he's there and he has the opportunity to get the ball, but he just couldn't track it into his glove. And so Cotuit now with a runner on second here with just one gone.
It's Ritter's first double of the season and his 14th hit. So now a runner on second base here in the bottom of the fourth inning with one out, and the top of the order coming back up in Jace Grady, who's 0 for 2. Grady at a Dallas Baptist, 5'10", 185-pound outfielder in center tonight. So he had some postseason experience with Dallas Baptist this season. His first pitch from DeFabia misses away. Just a freshman. His second season, though, but eligibility-wise a freshman. Played in 14 games with 10 starts in 2020 and then gets the extra year. So in his second season with Dallas Baptist, played in 49 games. As the runner Ritter takes off, pitch comes in, the throw down to third base, and they got him out. Ryan Ritter caught trying to steal third for the second out, and Taylor Smith, a much better throw that time on the money, right into the glove of Colden, who slaps the tag on Ritter.
Yeah, beautiful throw there by Taylor Smith, and they barely beat him, but they did. That's a great throw there by the catcher and a good tag applied by Cody Colden, just perfectly set up there by the Commodores. And after that double from Ritter, able to pick up the second out.
Counts 2-0, and the pitch comes in to the hitter Grady, and now 3-0, a high fastball missed. DeFabia helped by his catcher Taylor Smith, throwing out the runner Ritter trying to steal. So 2 away in the inning. 3-0, get me over fastball is a called strike at the belt. So Dallas Baptist, where Grady plays, won the Fort Worth Regional. So knocked out TCU from their own regional as the 3-1s popped up behind home plate. Taylor Smith runs back all the way to the backstop, but runs out of room by about 20 feet. So now the count's full. 2 away here in the bottom of the fourth, but Dallas Baptist winning that Fort Worth Regional, then had to play Virginia in the Super Regional in Charlottesville. Took them to 3 games, but they lost 2 of them, so that's where their season ended. But still a really good season. Going in to Fort Worth, and TCU, one of the best teams in the country, falls in that region. 3-2 is torched out into left center field, and that gets down on one hop into the fence. Rounding first, going to second is Grady, and Boyers throws it to the cutoff man Harford, who's lining up with third base. So it's a stand-up double with 2 outs for Jace Grady. The second double of the inning, back-to-back now for Cotuit.
Yeah, that ball there just plays perfectly into the gap, and a really good charge behind that ball. So Grady has himself his first double of the season and his third extra base hit of the year as well as he moves into scoring position. But that hit there just shows how important it was getting Ryan Ritter out when he tried to steal third, and Taylor Smith threw him out because he would have scored on that play had he still been on the base paths.
Really good play by Taylor Smith. Boyers has had to run an awful lot over the past couple of hitters. But 2 away now for Carter Trice. Couple of walks tonight, and he waves at the first pitch on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Grady stands on second. He's now 1 for 3. And it's 4-1. Commodores have the lead with 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth. DeFabia on the mound out of Stetson, a 2-way player. Went 2 for 3 with a sac bunt in his first appearance as a hitter for the Commodores earlier this week. And the 0-1 misses low, now 1-1 to the hitter Trice. DeFabia out of Iona Prep High School, though. Originally played for his father at Tuckahoe High School, but then transferred there to Iona for his junior and senior seasons, and his senior season was canceled. So really only played 1 year at Iona Prep. As the 1-1 is grounded off the glove of DeFabia, and he has no play as he chases it behind the mound. He'll pick it up and has no throw. So on first now is Trice, and moving over to third is Grady. Tough play for DeFabia on the mound. He got his glove on it, which saved probably a run or a single up the middle that probably would have drove in Grady from second. So instead, Grady moves to just third. And now on first is Trice. And Mike Landry comes out of the dugout to talk to DeFabia.
Yeah, it's tough to say there whether or not that ball would have gotten through. I thought Casey Harford would have had a play on it had DeFabia not gotten a piece of his glove on the ball. But regardless, those are the types of plays that are just so tough because you nearly have that ball, and if you get it, you can get an easy third out and go back to the dugout. But instead, now runners on the corners here for the Kettleers, and I mean, this is the biggest jam that DeFabia has been in tonight, and it's not even that big of a jam, but it just shows how well he'd been pitching up to this point.
Well, Mike Landry gives the call to the bullpen, and now Danny Garcia will come in to make his second appearance with Falmouth. It's 4-1 Commodores, runners at the corners with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. And when we come back, Garcia will be on the mound. So Danny Garcia out of Stetson on the mound, relieving his teammate from Stetson, Anthony DeFabia, who at the moment has gone 3+ innings, 5 hits. At the moment, no runs, but he's responsible for the runners at the corners, and he had 1 walk and a strikeout tonight, faced 14 hitters, but gave up 3 straight hits, which ultimately pulled him out of the game. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Luke Gold, the 3-hitter, will be the first victim that Garcia has to face out of the stretch. First pitch, a fastball outside, and it's 1-0 to Luke Gold. Gold is 0 for 1 tonight with a walk. Flied out to right field his last time up. Grady on third base after the double, and Trice on first after a single. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th and a 4-1 lead for Falmouth. Pickoff attempt for Garcia over to first, but Trice is back in diving safely.
Big spot here for Garcia. 3-run lead for the Commodores, but the tying run in Gold at the plate. And at this point, Falmouth just continuing to try and hold this lead.
1-0 the count to Gold, and here's the pitch. Fastball right down the middle, and it's 1-1. This is Garcia's second appearance with Falmouth. His first was probably one he wants to forget. He went an inning, but was on to get the final 4 outs of the game, and with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, gave up a walk-off home run to Colby Thomas of the Bourne Braves. That was his first day with the club as well. 1-1 breaking ball, misses outside, now 2-1. So just a tough first day with the team, but looking to really bounce back here with a good outing.
Yeah, in general, that was a tough night for Falmouth dropping that game. They played well and couldn't come away with the win, and played well enough, or come away with the tie. Played well enough for it, but Garcia just gave up that hit.
2-1, Gold drills it out into left field, and it drops in for a base hit. Scoring easily is Grady. Going from first to third is Trice, and coming into second, standing up, beating the throw from the left fielder, Anthony Hall, is Luke Gold. It's an RBI double for Luke Gold to make it 4-2 in the bottom of the 4th inning with 2 outs. 4 straight hits now for the Cotuit Kettleers.
4 straight hits, and 3 of them extra base hits. That's another double for this Cotuit team, and they're just starting to see these Falmouth pitchers well. I mean, that's the first time Garcia faced a batter tonight, and Luke Gold just drilled it into left center field for his team-leading 19th RBI of the season. So now back within 2 and 2 aboard, and both of those guys in scoring position.
Here's Eric Brown, and the first pitch to him is upstairs. Gold with his 21st hit of the season, his 4th double, and his team-leading 19th RBI, which leads the team by a lot. Brown tonight 0 for 1 with a walk and a flyout. And the 1-0 pitch. High fastball makes it 2-0. Trice now on third, Gold on second after the RBI double. 2 away in the bottom of the 4th. Now 6 hits apiece for both sides. And a 4-2 lead for Falmouth with the tying run on second base. Infield and outfield at normal depth with the right-hander Brown up at bat. 2-0 breaking ball outside and taken for a ball. Now 3-0 the count. Garcia, the redshirt junior on the mound. Brown, the sophomore infielder out of Coastal Carolina. Hit .294 and 50 starts for the Shants this season. And the 3-0. Get me over fastball right at the belt. It's 3-1. Garcia was a freshman All-American in 2019. Part of the A-Sun All-Freshman team and All-Tournament team in 2019 as well. And made 20 appearances and had 7 saves for the Hatters in 2021. So really used as the back end of their bullpen. 3-1 with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Fastball in the outside corner, catches it for a strike, and it's 3-2. Runners on second and third with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th, and a 4-2 lead for Falmouth. As Garcia looks to get out of this inning as quickly as he can. Taylor Smith calls time while Garcia set on the mound, and now he'll trot out to the mound to talk to his pitcher.
We were talking about earlier how much roster turnover there is for this Cotuit team, but Falmouth on the other side of that, they haven't had too much roster turnover, and Danny Garcia, who's on the mound now, one of the few guys for this Falmouth team, especially from the pitching staff, that joined the team mid-season. I mean, the only few other guys joined mid-summer. The Mississippi State guys come to mind, Garcia here, but outside of that, not really much more for this bullpen has come mid-season. So Garcia here, one of the few new faces that Falmouth has.
3-2, 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Brown. Popped up to the right side. Armstrong comes in right in front of the Commodores dugout out of our vantage point, and he makes the catch right in front of the dugout to retire the side. So Cotuit with 4 straight hits before the last out of the inning. An RBI double from Luke Gold brings in another run. It's 4-2 Commodores as we move to the 5th. go to the top of the 5th inning here at Lowell Park, and a new pitcher on in Logan Adams. So the day done for Jake Brooks for the Kettleers. He went 4 innings in his start, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, a walk and a strikeout, and faced 20 hitters. So Logan Adams on the mound now, out of the College of Central Florida, but is committed to play at NC State for next season. And Jace Borfin leading things off. Borfin takes the first pitch fastball upstairs, and it's 1-0 at 92 miles an hour. Borfin 2 for 2 tonight, a couple of singles, and a run scored in the 3rd inning as the Commodores lead by 2 here in the top of the 5th. 1-0 from Adams. Fastball is popped up behind home plate. Donlin, the catcher, goes and gives chase, but runs out of room. So it's off the top of the tent behind the backstop. The count moves to 1-1. Adams stands at 6'6", 240 pounds, similar to the stature of the Commodores starter tonight, Adam Stone. Just a little bit heavier set, Logan Adams is. As he comes set up at the chin. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss for Borfin at the off-speed pitch, low in the zone. It's 1-2.
Adams, a guy who's moved around a ton, originally from Wilmington, North Carolina, played the 2019 and 20 seasons at Charleston Southern, then this past year at the College of Central Florida, and going back to North Carolina, like you mentioned, Matt, to play at NC State this upcoming year.
And NC State, a team that will be fun to join, I would say. Went to the College World Series, dealt with all that COVID stuff at the end, but they really had a remarkable season here in 2021. He'll join them for the next season. 2-2 is fouled just our way and off the fencing in front of our, I guess this is a booth, our table here with all of our equipment, and our beat writer Tommy Muma flinching a little bit at the foul ball coming his way, but the count stays 2-2. Got to get Tommy with a glove to sit right behind the fence. 2-2 pitch, misses low and in, and now the count's full.
Poor Tommy, if he just sits with the glove behind the fence, he's never going to get anything. The glove will get everything. The fence will get everything.
Chris Armstrong stands on deck. He has a 2-run homer tonight. Count full with nobody out to start this 5th inning. And Adams deals. Breaking ball, misses low and in, and Jace Borfin works a leadoff walk to start the 5th inning. He's on board for the 3rd time tonight.
Well, Borfin's such a dangerous hitter, and that's evidenced by the fact 2 for 2 going into that at-bat. And so Adams coming in and, like you said, Matt, have to face the heart of the order and some of the toughest outs in this Commodore team has. And you pitch very cautiously to Jace Borfin because you don't want to give up anything that resembles either an extra base hit or more. But regardless, he's able to reach after the walk.
Snap throw over to first, and it gets away from the first baseman Gold. On his way to second is Borfin. He's going to round second and try for third. He gets the third standing up. There was no throw that came in to back into the infield as the pickoff attempt from the new pitcher Logan Adams tried to snap throw as the right-hander before he came set and threw it away from Gold at first, and then the ball left our vantage point. So tough to see what happened. Although a throw never came back into the infield, and Borfin gets two bases out of it, now stands on third.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, this foul territory here is so big, so it gives a lot of room for the ball to get away and takes a long time for the fielders to track up and get to it.
Armstrong batting from the left side, swings through the first pitch, and now it's 0-1. He's 1 for 2 tonight, grounded out his first time up, and had a 2-run shot from the left side into right field his last time up. Count 0-1 with a runner on third and Borfin. Fastball misses low and in. It's 1-1.
Nobody warming up for Cotuit at the moment, but we've seen time and time again this summer, Mike Roberts, the head coach for Cotuit, will waste no time going to the bullpen if his reliever is struggling.
Well, he's on the top step of that third base dugout right now. 1-1, bounced in with a breaking ball. Good block from Donlin. It's 2-1. Donlin a little shaken up after taking that right off the chest protector. Might have caught him in the side just a little bit with less protection, but he saved a run. Now the trainer will come out for Cotuit, although Donlin waved her off. Sparky Burns, the home plate umpire, making sure that trainer still comes and talks to him, but he's all good. Count 2-1 on Chris Armstrong with nobody out in the top of the 5th. Armstrong now with 5 home runs on the season after his homer in the 3rd inning, which ties Jace Borfin for the team lead. And Armstrong, mid-season addition to the Commodores. 2-1. Misses inside. It's 3-1 now.
Well, 3-1 here on Armstrong, and all the pitches he's missed to Armstrong and a couple of the ones he missed to Borfin, pretty much in the same spot, low and inside and not too far from the feet of these guys. Not close enough that they have to get out of the way, but that's been the spot that's missing.
3-1, ripped through the middle and into center field for a base hit. Coming in to score easily, jogging home and touching the plate is Jace Borfin. And his 3rd RBI of the night, Chris Armstrong's on first with an RBI single to make it 5-2.
There's some teams that Chris Armstrong, I think, just loves to hit against, and I think Cotuit is one of these teams. 2 for 3 tonight, a single and a home run, 3 RBIs in the ball game, and so he's responsible for 3 of the 5 runs that the Commodores have brought across tonight, and that bat of his just continues to be so good for the Commodores as he is seeing these pitches well tonight.
Just smoked it right back up the middle for an RBI single. And now he'll dive back into first standing up after the pickoff attempts. So now it's 5-2 here in the top of the 5th. Commodores holding a 3-run lead. And Taylor Smith stands in 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout tonight. Nobody out here in the inning. A walk for Borfin, then he reached 3rd on an error on a pickoff attempt from Adams. That brought him in to score on the single. First pitch to Taylor Smith, a breaking ball that misses well in front of the plate. And the count moves to 1-0. Well, the sun pretty much dropped down behind the trees. The only part of the field that's still sunny is right field and a little bit of center field. So Bridges and Grady dealing with that. As the infield pretty much all shadows now. Adams set and the 1-0. High fastball misses way upstairs to Taylor Smith, and now it's 2-0.
Yeah, well, first the walk to Borfin, then Armstrong was ahead 3-1, and Adams couldn't find his spot. And here against Smith, kind of the same deal, just can't find his spot. And so Mike Roberts is going to come out now. And we've seen him once this summer make a change mid-at-bat. It happened when Michael Curiali was batting earlier this year. And he's out there talking with the pitcher. Hasn't made a move towards the pen, but we've seen it happen before during an at-bat.
A right-hander up warming in the Cotuit bullpen. But Roberts hasn't made the motion yet to bring in a new arm.
We've also seen this summer where he'll come out, have a long talk with his team, and just give his bullpen more of an opportunity to warm up. Now he's going to call the trainer out to talk with the catcher, and Falmouth dugout is starting to yell at him because this isn't the first time this summer where he'll bring out the trainer to talk with the player, and then when they get done talking, he makes a call to the bullpen. He is still looking over towards the Falmouth dugout with a bit of a frustrated look on his face.
Well, Donlin's taking a walk all the way into the dugout. Looks a little shaken up, but unsure of why. Could be overheated, but he takes a step into the dugout with the help of the trainer. Mike Roberts going to have to bring in a new catcher now, but this also helps their bullpen get a little bit more time to warm up. And at the end of the day, I think that's in the back of the heads of all the Commodores in the dugout who have said something to Sparky Burns, the home plate umpire, and the head coach, Mike Roberts.
And Roberts now is kind of talking with what looks like a little bit of a fierce tone at the home plate umpire, Sparky Burns. Donlin's over in the dugout getting checked on, and I think you're right. I don't want to speculate, but it does look like it could be some sort of dehydration or heat stroke or something that's affecting him. So he's now out of the ballgame. So like you said, going to have to find a new catcher, and it looks like they're going to bring in one of their guys who is out in the bullpen, as now coming in is Raul Ortega from the bullpen. So they're not going to make a pitching change, but they're going to make a catcher change.
Well, Mike Roberts is turning around and talking to Brett Becker, the third base coach for the Commodores. And I can read Becker's lips from here, shockingly. He literally just said, I didn't say anything. So I guess Roberts is just going over to talk to him for no reason. But now they're going to get closer to each other.
These teams don't like one another. They don't.
Tensions flaring just a little bit here in the top of the 5th inning. And a 5-2 lead for Falmouth. Still waiting on a new catcher. And now out of the dugout, I believe they're going to give 5 warm-up pitches so that he can catch. You don't really need to warm up to catch, but.
Yeah, what this does too, though, I mean, when we're in Falmouth, a game is going to be 9 innings. It's frustrating, but you're going to get 9 innings in. We're limited here with how much time we have. I mean, the clock now past 7. We're 2 hours into this ball game. This alone right now, this delay has lasted upwards of about 5 minutes and is going to continue for another minute or two. And we know Mike Roberts, he is not unlikely to come out and make a change if Logan Adams continues to struggle on the mound. So that's going to delay things even further. So the hopes of getting a 9-inning game in here continuing to go out by every passing minute and just every passing delay in this ball game.
So Raul Ortega is the new catcher out of Tennessee Tech and is transferring to Texas Rio Grande Valley. Played at Howard College as freshman and sophomore years before going to Tennessee Tech and is now transferring again, a native of Nutley, New Jersey. So an awful long delay, and now the sun pretty much continuing to go down minute by minute. 7:02 here in the East Coast, and just in the top of the 5th with nobody out. So Taylor Smith with a 2-0 count, and the pitcher Logan Adams set with a runner on first. Breaking ball to Taylor Smith, and now the count moves to 2-1 after all of that. Donlin in the dugout has his hand over his face, still has all of his gear on, just sitting on the bench. And now the 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball, swing and a miss for Taylor Smith down in the dirt, and the count moves to 2-2 with Armstrong leading off at first.
Should say, too, that when the trainer came out to get Donlin, we weren't saying that Donlin wasn't injured or anything. You know, we obviously wish for the best for him. It's just the moves that we've seen from Mike Roberts before, it resembled something of that nature.
2-2. Breaking ball inside, and now the count runs full. So Donlin was helped off the field as well. Couldn't fully walk under his own power. But it wasn't anything with contact with any players or the baseball or anything like that. 3-2 pitch. Off the helmet of Taylor Smith. He took a fastball at 94 up to the top of his helmet. And Taylor Smith will not show anybody that that hurts, but he's going to walk to first base, taking the helmet off. And he's waving off Jeff Trundy, who's coming out of the dugout.
Yeah, normally when you get hit by a pitch in the head, typically you go down and everyone checks on you. And for obvious reasons, he just, as soon as he got hit, threw his bat over and just calmly walked down towards first. He's now has a big smile on his face. Jeff Trundy just patted him on the back and also shared a smile with him. So fortunately, okay, that's the last place you want to get hit is up in the head. But how about now, Logan Adams, a walk, a single, and a hit by pitch in the helmet he's given up, and still nobody out here in the inning.
So still in the top of the 5th with nobody out. Taylor Smith okay after taking a 94-mile-an-hour fastball to the top of his helmet. Turned at the last second to take it off the plastic helmet. Would have been a lot worse if it caught any facial structure or facial bones for Taylor Smith. But here's Anthony Hall. 1 for 2 tonight with a single and a run. First pitch to Hall in this at-bat is away for a ball. And Logan Adams struggling to find the strike zone. Has given up a walk, an RBI single, committed an error which allowed Borfin to move 2 bases on a pickoff attempt, which ultimately brought in the run on a single. Now runners on first and second with no outs in the 5th. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball low, and now it's 2-0 as Hall takes it for a ball. Anthony Hall much better offensively as of late. Went 1 for 4 last night. Went 2 for 4 with a couple of RBIs on Wednesday. And the 2-0 pitch, he takes inside with a fastball. It's 3-0. And Ortega, the new catcher, is signaling to Adams to settle down just a bit.
Adams so far has thrown 14 balls to 7 strikes in his outing tonight, and yet to pick up an out as well.
So nobody out here in the top of the 5th with Armstrong on second and Smith at first. 3-0 pitch to Anthony Hall. Fastball catches the outside corner, and it's 3-1. Hall singled back in the second and scored, and then flied out to left field in the 3rd inning. So his 3rd plate appearance tonight. Sun pretty much now only covering right field instead of center field as well. As Adams sets himself on the mound for the 3-1. Breaking ball, called strike, and home plate umpire Sparky Burns just punched out Anthony Hall with the wrong count. So now we'll get some chuckle from the crowd. Punched Anthony Hall out on strikes. Hall said that's strike 2. So now Sparky Burns signals that it's a 3-2 count.
That's a highlight of the night.
We're seeing everything in this inning. No outs, 3-2 pitch. Popped up and foul to the left side and out of play. So Hall stays alive in this at-bat. Got Armstrong leading off second and Taylor Smith leading off first. And a 5-2 lead for Falmouth. Cotuit 2-0 against the Commodores this season in their 3rd meeting of the year and their first at Lowell Park here tonight. Third baseman Trice plays a little bit off the bag at third with the left-handed hitter Anthony Hall up at the plate. 3-2 once again. Fastball ripped out into right center field. That gets down for a base hit. Armstrong paused in the air, but now he'll round third and score easily. Hall's going to try to stretch it into a double, and he slides in standing up. His 2nd hit of the night. It's an RBI double for Anthony Hall to make it 6-2 Commodores in the top of the 5th as Taylor Smith goes first to third.
And this inning just continues for Falmouth. Anthony Hall has had some hard hit balls in tonight's ball game. The single he had in the 2nd was an absolute missile into right field, and this one into right center, pretty much a missile as well off his bat, and he's able to pick up an RBI as well. So Logan Adams faced 4 batters. Each of them reached. 2 of them have come home to score, and Mike Roberts going to come back out now to talk with his pitcher and make the call to the pen.
So after everything we've seen from this inning, and with the length that the first inning was of 30-plus minutes for the entire first inning, this 5th inning might be longer. I didn't check the time when it started, but we're past 7 o'clock here on the East Coast, and another pitching change for the Kettleers as the sun creeps behind the trees beyond the third base side. When we come back, Commodores will have runners on second and third with nobody out in the top of the 5th inning. Logan Maitland on to relieve Logan Adams, who couldn't record an out here in the inning. Couple of hits, a walk and a hit by pitch. So now here in the top of the 5th, nobody out, runners on second and third, and already a couple of runs scored in the inning for Falmouth. This is the 3rd time tonight they've had multiple runs score in an inning. As Michael Curiali stands in as the 7-hitter tonight, 1 for 2 with a single and a run. Smith on third base and Hall on second. The first pitch, a breaking ball outside from Maitland. And it's now 1-0 to Curiali. Maitland out of UMass Dartmouth stands at 6'5", 200 pounds as the right-hander and has a 3/4 arm slot almost. 1-0 breaking ball crosses on the inside corner. It's 1-1. Alaska Abney was a member of the Cotuit Kettleers who we saw a couple of times in the first 2 meetings with Falmouth and Cotuit. Was drafted in this draft, so no longer with the team, but he had a full sidearm release. This a little bit more traditional over the top, but still at a different angle than you'd normally see as the count moves to 1-2 on Curiali.
And at this point, bringing Maitland in, Adams faced 4 batters, couldn't get any of them out. And so at this point for Cotuit, just try and pick up an out.
1-2, grounded to the right side to Luke Gold. He tosses to the pitcher, Maitland, and they punch him out as Curiali was sprinting and lost his helmet down the line. They're going to call him safe. So Curiali able to beat it out. So still nobody outs, no outs recorded here in the inning. And now the base is loaded as nobody advanced on the play. So Smith on third, Hall on second, Curiali at first, and Jonathan French, the hitter, who had a single in his last time up. He's 1 for 2, reached on an error and a single, and he's due to have that big hit. We haven't seen him have it in a little bit. So nobody out and the base is loaded in the top of the 5th. First pitch to French, a breaking ball in the inside corner. He's laughing. That was not really close, but it's 0-1.
That may have just been a gimme pitch here from the home plate umpire. Try and keep this inning moving.
So they'll give Curiali a single in the infield for his 2nd hit of the night. 0-1 pitch to French. Checked his swing on the breaking ball outside. He did not go around on the appeal, so it's 1-1.
Say this, that ball that Curiali hit was hit hard enough that the pitcher, Maitland, couldn't make a play, but it was also soft enough that the infield really had to run to it to get it, and so that was why he was able to be safe at first and just beat out the play.
Infield plays up with nobody out here in the 5th. 1-1 is flied out to right field, but foul, so now the count moves to 1-2 on French. French 1 for 2 tonight with a single and reached on an error. Coming into the night, batting just shy under 200. Now has 10 hits on the year, a couple of doubles, couple of homers, and 6 runs batted in. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3 as French goes down on the fastball up in the zone for the first out of the 5th.
That's a tough first out for the Commodores. Like you mentioned, Jonathan French he had a single in tonight's ball game coming into that at-bat, but just can't catch up with Logan Maitland, and it doesn't help that the first pitch was a called strike that he would have never been able to make contact with. So that's a tough first out for the Commodores, but for the Kettleers, that's a big first out.
So the infield still plays up with 1 out in the top of the 5th, and the base is loaded. First pitch to Luke Boyers is in and out of the glove of Ortega, but it's outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Didn't trickle out of the glove far enough for Smith on third to advance. Boyers already with an RBI tonight, albeit 0 for 2. Had an RBI ground out back in the 2nd and flied out to right field in the 4th. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball in the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-1. 6-2 Falmouth here in the top of the 5th. As the Commodores look to make it 3 straight wins. After dropping 5 in a row, they've turned it around just a little bit and have had all kinds of offense tonight. 1-1 to Boyers. Breaking ball he waved at. He did not go around. So it's a ball for Luke Boyers. That was close, but he did not go around. And a tough angle that Chuck Furlong has third base umpire, he's behind the mound where normally he'd be, if there's a four-man crew, he'd be right down the line to see that perfect imaginary line. But the count 2-1 to Boyers. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. That's at the knees for a strike. Heavy dose of breaking balls here for Luke Boyers, but the count moves to 2-2.
Yeah, but the breaking ball that Maitland has is a really nice pitch that drops in and just to the point where hitters aren't able to keep up with it if they put their bat around.
2-2, fastball blown right by the bat of Luke Boyers as he swings and misses it on the outside corner and up in the zone. Just a little bit late on it, Boyers was. Back-to-back strikeouts for Maitland on the mound, and there's 2 away now with the bases loaded, and the infield can play back.
You almost wonder there, was Boyers thinking it was going to be another breaking ball because he went around, but it was, like you said, late, and he didn't even look too confident with his swing. So I bet he was thinking that he may have been getting a breaking ball instead of a fastball, but nonetheless, that's a big second out here for Cotuit.
First pitch to Colden, a breaking ball inside, brushes him back off the plate. Colden is 0 for 3 tonight. The only hitter in the lineup, well, him and Boyers, the only 2 hitters in the lineup to have not reached base yet tonight, but Boyers does have the RBI to his name. Back at the top of the order here with Colden. Heading the count 1-0. Here's the pitch. Fastball is drilled on the ground, but that's foul all the way. Just to the left of the third base dugout, so it's 1-1.
Commodores continue to make really good contact tonight. They've had a lot of good contact in play. They've had some good contact foul, including that one there from Colden. But just try and time that up. Colden, one of the only guys tonight, actually the only guy in this Commodores lineup to not reach base tonight.
1-1 is fisted foul over the top of the backstop. And a nice catch by the fan behind us. And the count moves to 1-2. So Colden 0 for 3. Looking for that big hit here with Smith on third, Hall on second, and Curiali on first. Commodores have brought 2 runs across here in the inning, and they lead 6-2. As Maitland comes set, 6'5" right-hander deals the 1-2. Breaking ball is well outside, and Colden takes it. The count evens up at 2-2. Now just a really small area of right field still in the sun. Other than that, it's pretty much behind the trees. 2-2 pitch to Colden. Breaking ball hit in the air into center field. Grady comes in and now moves back a few steps to his left to make the catch, and that retires the side. The Commodores score 2 in the inning, but they strand the bases loaded. They could have had a little bit bigger of a lead, but they lead 6-2 now as we head into the bottom of the 5th. Move to the bottom of the fifth here from Lowell Park. Commodores lead 6-2 over Cotuit, and it's 5, 6, and 7 here in the inning, due up for the Kettleers. Danny Garcia back to the mound. He's been sitting for quite a while, though.
Yeah, we didn't have a clock on how long that top of the fifth was, but that may have taken the cake for the longest inning of the night, passing the first in terms of just the amount of time it took.
So the first pitch to Noah Bridges of the inning is a breaking ball called strike, and it's 0-1. No lights here at Lowell Park, so there's about a 0% chance that this game can get through 9 innings. As the 0-1 fastball is grounded to the left side, a true hop on a long hop to the shortstop Harford, and he makes the throw over to first. That lip of the dirt and the grass gave him a big hop from the field, and into his crow hop over to first helped his momentum for the first out of the fifth.
Looking at some of the times that games here have ended as of late, last night's game against Hyannis here only went 6 innings. It was called at 7:41, but there was some weather over the area, so that may have been part of the reason it was called at that hour. When Cotuit played here a couple nights before that against Orleans, that game was called at 7:45.
Matt Suggs takes a pitch on the inside corner for a strike. His count moves to 1-1.
Shouldn't actually say called. It ended at 7:45. They got a full 9 innings in. But when Brewster played here a few days before that,
fastball misses inside, now 2-1.
Only 8 innings were played in a 7-3 win for Brewster back on July 17th, and the game was called at 8:09. So we'll see roughly, but probably no more than 45 minutes left in this ball game.
Breaking ball loops in for a strike, and now it's 1-2. Commodores, luckily, all their home games can go 9 innings unless weather plays a factor, but in terms of darkness, as the 1-2 fastball misses high. Suggs tonight 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Cotuit struck first in the bottom of the first with a run, but then 4 unanswered runs until they scored again for the Commodores. 2-2 breaking ball, swing and a miss on the outside corner. And Garcia picks up a strikeout. Second time tonight that Suggs has gone down on strikes.
That's actually just the second strikeout tonight by the Commodores pitching staff. So Suggs responsible for both of the Ks tonight that the Kettleers have. And he, after sitting for so much time in the top half of the inning, has come out here and cruised through the first 2 batters.
2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth. First pitch to Nathan Martorella is low for a ball. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out to Chris Armstrong at first and a pop out to Michael Curiali at second. Out of the windup, the 1-0. Fastball inside, and now it's 2-0. Garcia out of Stetson on the mound, the redshirt junior right-hander. Couple of starts in 20 appearances for the Hatters in 2021. As the 2-0 misses low and away, it's now 3-0. Shows Stetson over Charleston Southern, Davidson, and then Dartmouth and Brown as well. 3-0. Fastball right down the middle for a strike. So Danny Garcia, haven't gotten the chance to talk to him too much, but chose Stetson over Dartmouth and Brown. Has to be one of the smarter guys on the team. As the 3-1 misses up and in, and it's ball 4 to Nathan Martorella with 2 outs.
Had the opportunity a bit to talk with him on Thursday. Some of the guys from the team along with us went to Fenway for the Red Sox-Yankees game and was talking with him a little bit. Just a really good guy and, a great presence on this team for sure.
So here's Raul Ortega, who came in as a defensive replacement for Matt Donlin in the top half of the fifth. 2 outs and a runner on first. First pitch swinging. He's late on the fastball, and it's 0-1. Donlin went 1 for 2 with a single and a pop out tonight. And Ortega now getting his first plate appearance behind the count 0-1. And Garcia deals a fastball that's fouled away to the left side and out of play, so it's 0-2. Danny Garcia on the mound has a twin brother, David, but the 2 of them born on different days, which I always find that so funny. You could be twins but have different birthdays. Danny was born on October 20th, 1999. David, October 21st, 1999, so just after midnight. Count now 1-2 after the fastball missed upstairs to the hitter, Ortega. The runner on first, Mortarella. Small lead over there. As the right-hander kicks and deals. Goes with the sidearm pitch, and it's grounded to the second baseman, Michael Curiali. An easy play for the UCLA Bruin. Ends the inning. Just a walk allowed by Danny Garcia in the inning. But other than that, 3 up and 3 down. And he was really, really good in the inning. Continues to attack the zone. And we move now into the top of the 6th inning with the Commodores still leading 6-2. Logan Maitland's day is done. He went an inning, a hit, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts and faced 4 hitters. Now Ryan Dio is on the mound out of Southern New Hampshire. Played in 2 games at Southern New Hampshire in 2021, but both of them came as a hitter. Went 0 for 3 with a couple of runs scored. Side armor on the mound, goes from the right side, 6'3", 210 pounds, and his first pitch to Casey Harford is a called strike on the inside corner, and the count moves to 0-1.
He's sidearm, but he's not far from being a submarine thrower entirely. Goes way down to get that pitch over.
0-1, grounded to the right side and through the shift into right field for a base hit. Harford takes a fastball in the outside corner the other way through the infield and into right field for a leadoff single in the 6th inning.
Well, Harford, the only guy who didn't come to the plate in the 5th for the Commodores, so he wanted to get in that hit parade that Falmouth had back in that inning, and so comes up to bat here in the 6th and puts a ball through the right side that the first baseman, Luke Gold, can't play. So another base hit for the Commodores, who now have 10 in this ball game.
Here's Jace Borfin. The first pitch to him misses outside. Third baseman Trice plays really far off of the bag at third, almost in between the normal hole of shortstop and third base. And he also plays up, even with the base paths. Shortstop Ritter almost behind the second base bag as pickoff attempt from Dio over to first, but Harford's back in safely. And the second baseman, Brown, is in double play depth, but a little bit shallow with the left-hander Borfin up. 1-0 pitch to Borfin, called strike on the outside corner. It's 1-1. A lot of breaking balls from this arm slot you'll see. But he goes almost all the way down, at least with the shoulders. But where he releases the ball, it's almost parallel with the ground. 1-1 is stroked out into left center field. That gets down for a base hit, and it might be more as Harford round second goes to third, and the ball gets all the way to the fence as Jace Borfin stops in at second with a no-out double. Back-to-back hits for the Commodores, and the third hit of the night for Jace Borfin. He's been on base 4 times, and the Commodores have 2 men in scoring position with nobody out here in the top of the 6th.
I'll say we have no idea where this offense came from tonight for Falmouth. I mean, the first 2 games that the Commodores had against the Kettleers this summer, Falmouth hit just 129 against the Kettleers pitching staff and really struggled to produce offense in those games. Falmouth had struggled to produce some offense in these last few games leading up to tonight. But all of a sudden, maybe the fact that it's a rivalry game, maybe the early start, who knows? 6 runs, 11 hits already for Falmouth, and another inning where they start things off with back-to-back base hits.
Commodores have scored 6 runs tonight, and they've scored 2 runs in an inning 3 times. So we've talked about this all season where the scoring is either so much in one inning and none the rest of the game, or it's spaced out, and that's when they're successful. Tonight, they're having a lot of scoring, and it's also spaced out, so they're doing it throughout the entire game and the entire lineup. Runners on second and third, no outs for Chris Armstrong, and he takes a breaking ball at 66 miles an hour, the slowest pitch of the night, outside for a ball. Armstrong having a pretty good day himself. 2-run homer in the third, an RBI single in the first, a couple of runs scored. He's 2 for 3. Batting from the left side for the 4th time tonight. 1-0 pitch. Swings through the breaking ball high in the zone, and it's 1-1.
Opportunity here for Chris Armstrong. Already has 3 RBIs tonight to drive home some more, with Falmouth having 2 base runners here in scoring position.
Top of the 6th, nobody out. With Harford on third, Borfin on second. 1-1 pitch, hit high in the air into right field. Bridges goes back. He's moving back all the way to the wall in the gap to make the catch. Coming into tag and score is Casey Harford. He stomps on the plate standing up. Going from second to third is Jace Borfin. It's an RBI sacrifice fly for Chris Armstrong, his 4th run batted in tonight. And the Commodores lead 7-2 here in the top of the 6th.
Well, Armstrong just continues to produce at the plate for Falmouth. Comes into tonight with 9 RBIs on the season, and now up to 13 with the 4 that he's had tonight. But you step in there with runners in scoring position, and at the end of the day, you love to get a base hit, but just being able to bring home a run and produce some offense makes things even better. And he's able to do that there with a ball that wasn't too far from carrying out of the yard here at Lowell Park.
Would have been his 2nd home run of the game, and would have been a 3-run homer. He already has 4 RBIs tonight now. And here's Taylor Smith. First pitch, Smith takes high and away. Smith tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk and a hit by pitch. His last time up in the 5th inning, took a fastball at 94 miles an hour off the helmet. But now has a runner on third base in Jace Borfin. The infield plays up. Time called by Sparky Burns behind home plate. 7 runs on 11 hits for Falmouth tonight. And the 1-0 to Smith. Popped up and out of play behind home plate. Count moves to 1-1. 2 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors for Cotuit tonight. They've gone now to Dio, who's their 4th pitcher of the evening. Taylor Smith on base twice tonight. And the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball outside. And now it is 2-1 as Ortega had to come out of the crouch for that. Anthony Hall stands on deck with a couple of hits and an RBI and a run tonight. Infield playing up, down 5 runs. They're up in the grass at the edge. And the 2-1. Way outside. Ortega comes out of the crouch again to catch it. And if that gets past him, Jace Borfin scoring easily the 8th run of the night. He's on third base with 1 out. Dio sets himself on the mound in the 3-1. Smith takes upstairs for ball 4. He's on base for the 3rd time tonight. Couple of walks and a hit by pitch for Taylor Smith. Runners at the corners with 1 out.
Just continuing to find ways to get on base tonight. Commodores are doing it in a number of different ways. And, I mean, this with the scoreline now up by 5, probably no more than a half hour or so left here from Lowell Park. It is starting to get dark out here. You know, pretty close to chalking this up for a win for Falmouth. Knock on wood.
The old broadcasters jinx. There's a long way to go for that. And
Yeah.
Falmouth still offensively up right now. So they'll hold the lead at least for the time being. First pitch to Anthony Hall is a breaking ball down in the dirt. It's been a bunch of breaking balls and slow pitches for Ryan Dio on the mound, that arm slot. I don't even know what angle it comes in at, but it's almost so low to the ground that it's close to being a submarine. Borfin on third. Taylor Smith on first base with 1 out. Breaking ball goes behind Anthony Hall as he scoots out of the way, and now it's 2-0. 67 miles per hour. So that's not as frightening when the pitch comes behind on a fastball, but still, Hall scoots his way out of it, and now Mike Roberts comes out of the dugout. The skipper for the Kettleers walks to the mound to talk to Ryan Dio on the mound.
Did you ever, when you played baseball, have any pitches come behind you?
I had a couple, and there was a game where one of my teammates had, because of me, I was always one of the guys that liked to stir the pot a little bit with umpires, with other teams. So there was a game where I was saying some nasty stuff that I can't say on the air, and one of my teammates stands in the batter's box, and I hear the other coach say, "Throw at him." They ended up throwing 4 straight pitches behind him. They never hit him. 4 straight pitches behind him, and I'm out of the dugout yelling all this stuff. And the umpires tossed the other coach out of the game because he literally told their pitcher to throw at my teammate. But I thought that was hilarious that they couldn't even hit him when they tried.
That is funny.
But I think I'd stand in and take a 64-mile-an-hour breaking ball behind me.
Easy way to get on base.
2-0 pitch now is low, and now it's 3-0 to Anthony Hall. Mike Roberts with a long meeting on the mound. Left-hander warming up in the bullpen beyond the left field wall. Anthony Hall single and a double tonight. 3-0 pitch. Down low and inside for ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk for the Oregon Duck, and now the bases are loaded with 1 out for Michael Curiali.
You know, we didn't time how long the 5th inning was. Maybe we should start getting the stopwatches out when Falmouth comes to bat here, because this is another inning that's just continuing to roll on. I mean, 5 batters have come to the plate for Falmouth. 1 has already come home to score. 1 out only recorded thus far, the sac fly from Chris Armstrong. And this inning just continues now, bases loaded.
Michael Curiali, 2 for 3 tonight, and he hits the first pitch high in the air into center field, right at the center fielder Grady. He makes the catch. Coming into tag from third is Jace Borfin. The throw is cut off by the first baseman Gold. And now it's 8-2 Commodores. A sacrifice fly for Michael Curiali drives in a run. His first RBI of the night. And the Commodores now lead by 6 in the top of the 6th.
Say this, we talked about with Michael Curiali how he was coming in a big slump. 0 for his last 17 and just 1 for his last 23 at the plate. But tonight, couple of singles for the UCLA Bruin and that sac fly there. So maybe he's starting to see the ball better, getting out of the slump a little bit. Regardless of what it is, it's great to see, because it was we could tell looking at him, it was frustrating every game how often he was going down. And that takes a toll on you. So to come out tonight and contribute to this offense is certainly a worthwhile performance.
Jonathan French fouled the first pitch away, so he's behind in the count 0-1. You know that famous Yogi Berra quote? He says, baseball is 90% mental and the other half is physical. One of the classic Yogi quotes, but we've seen that mental toll take on Michael Curiali. 0-1 breaking ball up in the shoulder of Jonathan French, and he'll soak that one up and trot on down to first base. And that loads the bases once again. Third base now, Taylor Smith occupies it. Anthony Hall on second. And French on base for third time tonight. Once on an error, once on a single, and once by hit by pitch. And here's Luke Boyers at the bottom of the order, 0 for 3 tonight with an RBI ground out in the second inning rather. First pitch, breaking ball low, and now it's 1-0.
I think my favorite Yogi quote's probably when you come to or when you take, I don't remember exactly the setup for it, but essentially when you come to a fork in the road, take it. It's a great saying. There's a ton that are great.
Gets the brain thinking just a little bit. 1-0 breaking ball. That one catches the outside corner and the knees. Good pitch for Dio, and now it's 1-1. So now the fourth inning here in the sixth. This is the fourth inning the Commodores have scored multiple runs in here tonight. And they lead at 8-2. 1-1. Grounded softly to the right side and foul. So now it's 1-2 on Boyers. This offense just bursting out of nowhere tonight, which has struggled just a bit over the last couple of days. A 2-0 win last night. 4 runs scored over Bourne on Wednesday. Only 1 run scored 3 times over that 5-game losing streak. Only put up 1 run in 3 games. And the 1-2 to Boyers. Takes it outside for a ball. Now it's 2-2. So tonight scoring 8 runs, which we'll look back in our book, but they haven't done that in a while. Or they did it against Bourne. That was part of the losing streak. But they did it against Bourne in the first game earlier this week. But other than that, it's really been a long time. As the 2-2 is fisted foul up in the zone, and that'll go out of play behind home plate. So the count stays 2-2. 11 runs scored at Orleans on Tuesday, July 13th. So a couple of weeks ago. That was really the last time this offense exploded. And that was out of nowhere as well, because the day before that, they won 1-0 over the Firebirds. Bases loaded, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th, and a 6-run lead for the Commodores. 2-2 count to Luke Boyers, looking to get on base for the first time tonight. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses high and away, and the count runs full. So that'll get the merry-go-round going. All 3 runners will steal as soon as Dio tries to make his motion towards the plate. Got to make sure he goes towards the plate, then you can take off. As he comes set at the belt. 3-2 pitch as the runners go, and it's outside for a ball. Luke Boyers on base for the first time tonight, and his second run batted in. An RBI walk for Boyers as Taylor Smith touches the plate, and now it's 9-2 Commodores. Anthony Hall moves up to third. Jonathan French moves up to second. And Mike Roberts coming out to the mound once again out of the dugout, and he's going to call, I believe he'll make the move to the bullpen.
Yeah, well, Dio struggling here in this inning, 2/3 of an inning that he's worked through, but he's given up 2 base hits, 3 walks, and a hit batter, a couple of sac flies as well, as Falmouth has already brought across 3 this inning. So only 2 innings tonight where Falmouth has been held scoreless, and the call to the bullpen made for Cotuit now. And it's just, more than anything, it's just chewing time away from this game to continue getting played.
So the Commodores score 3 runs this inning for the first time all night. 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fifth, currently 3 in the sixth. And they have the bases loaded with the top of the order coming up when we come back from Lowell Park. So Riley Hugie on the mound now for the Cotuit Kettleers out of the College of Central Florida. 6'4", 210 pounds. The left-hander stands at. Comes in to relieve Ryan Dio. And the bases are loaded for Falmouth for the top of the order in Cody Colden. It's the third appearance of the season for Hugie. He's 0-1 with a 9 ERA through 2 innings. Hall on third, French on second, and Boyers at first. 9-2 lead for Falmouth here in the top of the sixth with 2 away. First pitch to Colden is upstairs for a ball. Colden is the 9th hitter to come to the batter's box in the inning. So if his plate appearance is complete, and Harford, if Colden keeps the inning alive and Harford comes up, Commodores will have batted around. Left-hander comes set for the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball called strike, and it's 1-1. That was on the outside corner of the plate. 3 runs already across here in the 6th inning on just 2 hits. So the Commodores getting on base different ways, and they're scoring different ways as well. 2 sacrifice flies in the inning and an RBI walk. The 1-1. Breaking ball down in the dirt, and a good block by Ortega makes it 2-1. Just 4 days ago was the last outing for Hugie. He went 2 innings scoreless and gave up a couple of hits and had 3 walks and a strikeout in 10 batters that he faced. Struggled in his first outing, though. Couldn't record an out and gave up no hits and 2 earned runs. As Colden pops up the 2-1 pitch into right field. Bridges is right there, moves in 1 step, and lunges to make the catch. And that ends the inning. The Commodores, for the 2nd straight inning, strand the bases loaded, but they bring across multiple runs for the 4th time tonight, and they lead it 9-2 as we move to the bottom of the 6th. We move into the bottom of the 6th, and this will be it. Got word from home plate umpire Sparky Burns, that this is the last half inning of the ball game due to darkness and no lights here at Lowell Park. It's 9-2 Commodores, and the first pitch to Ryan Ritter from Danny Garcia is a fastball high, and it's 1-0. So 7 runs need to be scored here for the Kettleers to tie the game here in what is the bottom of the 6th, but really the bottom of the 9th almost. They have to treat it like. As the 1-0 is called strike down the middle, it's 1-1.
This is wild. We're only going to get a 6-inning game in tonight, and for Cotuit, it's back-to-back nights with a 6-inning game.
6-inning game, but it's almost 3 hours long as it's chopped foul to the left side, and Colden fields it just a foot off the bag foul, so it's 1-2. That's, I think, the most mind-boggling thing. Despite combined 11 runs being scored, but the way the first inning went with all the walks, that feels like yesterday. I mean, this has just been the longest game ever, and we're through 5.5.
We've had like the shortest game ever, 2 hours, 8 minutes against Orleans, a 1-0 win. And if this stretched out to 9 innings, probably could chalk it down as theoretically the longest game of the summer.
Yeah, it would have been on pace to be by far the longest, but we're approaching 3 hours. When the 2-2 count, here's the pitch from Garcia. Breaking ball is lined out into right field, and it drops down on a couple of hops into the glove of Jace Borfin. It's a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 6th for Ryan Ritter, his second hit of the night.
Falmouth tonight scoring 9 runs on 11 hits, and you look at Cotuit, 7 hits for them, so not too many behind Falmouth, but only 2 runs across for the Kettleers, and that's another example for Falmouth of the timely hitting that the team has had this summer, in addition to being helped out by some walks and stuff tonight. But regardless, the timely hitting for Falmouth really playing into effect again tonight, something that this offense has just gotten better and better at, it feels like, over the last couple of weeks.
So the first pitch to Jace Grady at the top of the order is outside. It's 1-0. So a single for Ritter, his second hit of the night. He leads off the inning by getting on base. Garcia out of the stretch now. The 1-0 pitch, low, and now it's 2-0. Grady tonight is 1 for 3 with a double and a run in the 4th inning. 1 run in the 1st and 1 in the 4th for Cotuit tonight. And 4 times tonight out of the 6 innings, Commodores scored multiple runs. Count is 2-0. Here's the pitch. Popped up to the left side, and the third baseman, Colden, moves over just a couple of steps to his right, and he makes the catch for the first out of the bottom of the 6th.
Oh, Danny Garcia here just has to get 2 more outs and can chalk this up as a win for Falmouth. So goes out there knowing that this is it for the Commodores and go out there with a little bit of a different mentality. You want to close this thing out, end your outing tonight on a high note. And certainly for him, after giving up the lead or after giving up the walk-off home run against Bourne a few days ago, come out tonight and end it on a much higher note for this team and for himself.
Carter Trice now stands in. And the first pitch to Trice is upstairs. Trice tonight 1 for 1, has been on base 3 times with a single and 2 walks. And scored in the first when he reached on a walk. Out of Old Dominion. Second team All-American by collegiate baseball this season. And the 1-0 misses high. First team All-Freshman, freshman All-American by both collegiate baseball and perfect game as well. Conference USA Freshman of the Year. He really had a phenomenal season at Old Dominion in his freshman year. His first team All-Conference, All-Freshman team, and named to the collegiate national team as well for the United States. So he rips it foul to the left side, and now it's 2-1. And Old Dominion, just as a freshman, he was 4th in total bases, or rather, this is among the nation's freshmen. He was 4th in total bases, 6th in hits with 83, and 7th in runs with 57 among freshmen around the entire country. And then he led his team in batting average, hits, doubles, and total bases. 2-1 is stroked out deep into right field. Borfin goes back. He's at the wall. He looks up, and that ball is out of here. A 2-run home run for Carter Trice makes it 9-4 as the Commodores still lead by a large margin. But just a small step in the road back to coming back here in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, that's certainly going to leave a sour taste in the mouth of Danny Garcia, who had been pretty much spotless up until this point of the ball game and had an out already here in the 6th or the 9th, depending on how you want to look at it. But regardless, gives up the home run there to Carter Trice, his first extra base hit of the season. So, of course, his first home run as well. And a little bit of life here for Cotuit.
This is the 4th game of the season for Trice, and he just crushed a home run. Now to count 1-1 on Luke Gold, but he crushed a home run to right field. Borfin knew that was gone. He didn't really make much of an effort to get to the wall, just kind of jogged. 1-1, hit high in the air to right field. Borfin's there now to come in a few steps, and he makes the catch right over his head for the second out. And now in the bottom of the 6th with 2 away, Cotuit's down to their final out.
Definitely a big sigh of relief there for Danny Garcia after giving up the home run, able to get Luke Gold to pop out. And now just 1 out remaining here before the Commodores can end this ball game with the dub.
9-4 is now the score here after the 2-run homer for Carter Trice. So here's Eric Brown with 2 away, and he smokes the first pitch down the left field line, but that one hops in foul territory before going over the fence on the third base side. So the count 0-1. So Trice picking up his second and third hits tonight, his first extra base hit, his first home run, and got a pair of RBIs. The 0-1 grounded hard to the shortstop Harford. He bobbles it, then throws to first, and it's not in time. Eric Brown quick at second base for Coastal Carolina. He sprints the 90 feet down and beats out the throw. That ball was hit so hard, but it was off of the body, off a bad hop from Casey Harford. It ate him up, and then he made the tough throw over, but just in time beating it out, it was Eric Brown.
Danny Garcia hungry to just get that last out, and I'm sure Casey Harford as well, but can't get a clean throw over to first, and so that ends up keeping this ball game just going a little bit longer.
So that brings up Noah Bridges. RBI tonight, and he strokes the first pitch out into the left center field gap, and it drops in right in front of Boyers. Boyers' throw goes all the way to third base, but it's cut off by Cody Colden, who came off the bag. And coming into third is Eric Brown. Moving into second is Bridges. Might be a single and an advance to second on a throw, or it'll be a double. But nonetheless, Cotuit keeping this game alive down to their final out here in the bottom of the 6th. And they have runners on second and third, trailing by 5. And Mike Landry's going to come out of the dugout to bring in a new arm. This might be a little bit of retaliation to the other side, but Danny Garcia's day is done with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, which is the last inning of the night due to darkness. So when we come back, it'll be second and third for Cotuit. And Levi Wells coming into the ball game for the Commodores, looking to get the final out. So Levi Wells on the mound looking to get the final out of this ball game as Matt Suggs 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts and a walk will stand in with runners on second and third trailing by 5. It's 9-4. 9 runs on 11 hits for Falmouth, 4 runs on 10 hits, and a pair of errors for Cotuit. Wells, the right-hander, will face the right-handed hitter Suggs. And here's the pitch. Fastball right down the middle for a strike at 93 miles an hour, and it's 0-1. So this game ending here in the bottom of the 6th. At the end of the 6th inning, it'll be a conclusive game, a concluded game. As the 0-1 is popped up to the right side, but that's just tailing out of play into the bleachers beyond the first base side. Now it's 0-2, and the Kettleers are down to their final strike.
Levi Wells coming in here, relieving Danny Garcia, and only needing to pick up 1 out. So far, 2 strikes from the right-hander out of Texas State. And like you said, just needs 1 more here to pick up that last out. Try and make some easy work here for the pitcher.
Wells making his 8th appearance out of the bullpen, which leads the team. Here's the 0-2. Fastball just fouled off the body of Taylor Smith. He's frustrated, but it stays 0-2 with 2 outs. Eric Brown on third, Bridges on second, but still a long way to go for Cotuit to tie or win this game, this being the last inning due to darkness here in the bottom of the 6th. Wells comes set out of the stretch, and the 0-2 pitch again. Fastball's popped up in the infield. Going back is the shortstop Harford, and Curiali, the second baseman, will call him off and make the catch to end the ball game. A 6-inning game here tonight, but the Commodores get all kinds of offense. 9 runs on 11 hits for Falmouth tonight, and their opponent just 4 runs on 10 hits. And really, the pitching was okay. A tough start for Adam Stone, who couldn't get through the first inning. But other than that, Anthony DeFabio was pretty good out of the bullpen. Garcia was good for most of the early part of his outing. Levi Wells gets 1 batter and 1 out, and the offense just explodes.
It does, and kind of came out of nowhere. We certainly weren't expecting it, especially with how the Commodores have played of late. But you know what? At the end of the day, a win's a win. We said it last night on Closing the Door. That's one of the great things about baseball. Maybe one night part of your game isn't working, but the other night the other part is working, and that's kind of what happened tonight for the Commodores. They didn't have the start that they would have wanted from Adam Stone, and I'm sure that he was disappointed with himself after only going 2/3 of an inning in the shortest start of the season. But to bring Anthony DeFabio in, 3 innings from him. He gives up 5 hits, just 1 run. Danny Garcia then gets 2 innings of work and gives up a couple of runs as well. Bullpen has to be happy with itself. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's only a 6-inning game, so Falmouth doesn't have to stretch themselves too thin out of the bullpen. They don't have to continue fighting off this offense. And as a result, they can leave happy tonight, now sitting at 2nd place in the Western Division.
2nd place in the West after losing 5 straight games over last week's stretch. They get the off day, and they've now won 3 in a row, with the off day in the middle of that. A win on Wednesday, the off day Thursday, a win Friday, and a win Saturday. They now find themselves in a playoff spot in the West Division. Unbelievable.
Yeah, how about that we say that? Commodores here winning 3 in a row. That's the 2nd time this season that Falmouth has won 2 straight games, and it's the longest stretch that the team has had all year long. They haven't won more than 3 at any point this year. So we said it earlier in the ballgame. Falmouth is known for being a second-half team. The Commodores are finding their stroke at the right time of the year, and for Coach Trundy and all the fans involved and for us, that is well worth seeing because we know this team has the talent and hadn't shown every night up to this point in the year, but it's starting to come across on a little bit more of a consistent basis. And with Falmouth's win tonight, the team now just 2 wins under 500, sitting at 11-13-2 on the year. But most importantly, they're in 2nd place, and you know, if the season ended today or going down the stretch, the Commodores have the opportunity to control their own destiny.
So the Commodores return home tomorrow night to take on the Chatham Anglers at 6 o'clock. Then on Monday, we'll be back on the road at 7, part of the home-and-home back-to-back with Chatham. That'll be the last time the Falmouth Commodores travel to an Eastern Division team this season. It's quickly winding down, just 10 more games to go, and the Commodores looking for every ounce of that playoff push towards the end of this season, and they get a big win here tonight against Cotuit to move right in front of the Kettleers into 2nd place behind the Bourne Braves. Well, that'll do it here tonight. A 6-inning game that the Commodores pull through offensively almost the entire time. So for my partner, David Hadar, our entire Falmouth Commodores crew, Matt Levine saying so long tonight. The final score, Falmouth wins it 9-4 over the Kettleers in 6 innings, and you heard it all right here